not me.
You got the big ice cube on top of it.
I should probably
disposing of it.
I probably should fix my hair before we turn on the cameras, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Just.
Oh god, there's cameras in here?
No. Everywhere.
No.
Every
I just need to look fantastic every time we record.
Every angle.
So,
all right.
Do you sound better if you look better?
Yeah, exactly. That's how it works.
That's what I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
You guys ready?
I'm totally ready.
I was born ready.
Dude, I don't know what it is, but he sounds like he's in a fucking can right now.
I know.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
You sound like you're sitting on the toilet.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, you're in the bathroom.
Is it? Because I'm in the...
Live from the bathroom.
And now, bringing it back, all new episode of Bathroom Wars.
Bathroom
Terrible.
Wars. Oof, that's a show I don't want to be involved
Battle shits.
Battleship.
I definitely don't want to be involved with that either.
Oh my god. Jennifer, would you want to play Battleships?
Welcome to Untitled Car Project. I'm Rob Spring,
Jeremy Molt.
I'm Grant Gonzalez.
and we're here today with Derek Goff in studio. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah,
Appreciate
man,
it.
Appreciate you being here. Just so everybody knows, we're working on our audio qualities. Grant sounds like he's in a bathroom.
Really? I thought I sounded amazing.
You do sound amazing in a bathroom.
Oh, perfect. That's why I do my singing.
Yep.
Yay.
That's legit.
There's been some other audio issues, but we're working through them. We're trying to get better. Maybe we are, maybe we aren't. I think someday we'll get there.
Let us know.
Might have to spend another $10,000 on equipment to get there.
Email us and let us know we're idiots.
Yeah.
Sounds like another car
We
project.
keep asking. Yeah. Little update. So we had Max Essig on the show 3-4 weeks ago, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
We challenged him to build a race truck. Guess what Max is doing?
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He sent me pictures yesterday or this morning or
He's
something.
building a Ford fucking Ranger, isn't he?
Ford Ranger race truck.
Oh my god.
100%.
That's
Yes, he is.
amazing.
Yes, he is. He sent me photos. I'll bring them up. I'll show him.
He thought it was a good idea.
Oh, yeah. He said, I hope you're happy. Send me pictures. So,
You don't know how happy I am, Max.
yeah.
I am so stoked.
I thought you might be interested. No, it looks pretty cool already. Pretty straight truck from what I saw. And then he tore the front clip off and he's got like a wide body clip on it. It looks pretty cool.
Does it have the Ford Ranger, what do they call them? Desert Runner front flares? The
That
front fenders?
might be the ones that
Yes.
he put on it. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Let me.
We're talking about like the 90s Ranger you went with, right? Not like the 80s or 70s, like big body box
you go.
one.
Make it look like a
No,
trophy truck kind of deal.
sort of trophy truck, sort of, but it's a two-wheel
probably
drive.
90s,
and
yeah.
basically, he hasn't explained it to me, but it looks like he's going to make an autocross truck out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
And I think that's cool as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the truck series.
Yeah.
That'd
yeah,
be
yeah.
awesome.
It's totally cool. So I can't believe that he jumped in. He took it seriously, and he's building the race truck. So pretty great.
We have influence.
Well,
we have influence.
I'm sorry, Max. Sorry that we're costing you this money, but here we are. Here.
What are friends good for if they're not spending your money in some way?
Yeah.
Yeah,
very
I mean,
nice.
honestly, we've been good at that in the past. Look at all the money people spend at Autocross just to try and get faster.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
whose fault is that? It's always the fastest person.
Yeah.
It's true.
Well,
Sorry.
great segue. I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, 3 of the 4 of us went to
Yeah.
Autocross this weekend,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and it was awesome.
Oh, it was so much
I
fun.
had a great time.
It was a good day,
It
for
was.
sure. Well, great couple
2
of days.
good days,
really.
yeah. Viper Saturday, Corvette Sunday. We have a winner amongst our presence.
Yeah,
It was not me.
It was a lucky day.
I don't know, man.
Tim and I went back and forth both days. He squeaked it out of me on Saturday.
But what, like 2/10?
Yeah, it was pretty close. I
It
don't
was
remember
really close.
exactly.
Yeah.
And, and it was 8 thousandths that I beat him by on Sunday.
Just amazing.
I mean, 8 thousandths.
You guys were in rare air, though. I mean, there was only 3 people in the, what is it, 51s?
55. And there was just,
50,
yeah.
Okay.
Tim and I both had a 55.9.
Okay.
No one else was in the 55s.
Yeah. it
There was a few people running them, but they couldn't get them clean.
Yeah.
So-
I did not even get close to the 55s.
You didn't get close.
Huh?
You didn't get close.
No, I didn't.
For the listener, 8/10 is really close. I mean,
Eight
eight thousandths. I mean, if you got to go
Yeah,
out to the
thousandths.
third digit in
Yeah.
the decimal point range, that is.
I mean, I can't even fathom
Wow.
that amount of
I'll put it
time,
into
right?
perspective. It takes 0.3 to blink.
Yeah.
You know.
It takes 0.3 of a second to blink. Okay,
Yeah.
you know your 8,000ths.
Well, I know, like, what I was talking to somebody there, and they were saying they used to do a bunch of drag racing, and they said at 120 miles an hour, a tenth of a second is a car length. So at what 60, maybe as you're crossing that line in autocross, I mean, how many inches is that over the? You know, what are we running, like about a mile?
Yeah, it's usually
It's
about
about
a mile.
Yeah.
So how many inches is that?
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, is it girl inches or guy inches?
I mean, I might run off of girl inches to make myself feel better sometimes.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
Just for the record, girl inches are men's lie inches.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Isn't that like 60,000, 65,000 inches? Sorry, I was doing the math in my head because 1 mile is 500.
No, I mean, how
5,280 feet times by 12.
how many inches do you beat a guy by, though?
Oh,
Like, if
yeah.
you both went across the lights
65,000
at the
inches.
same time, what
Yeah.
would that photo finish look like at 8,000ths of a second?
Yeah, it can't be more than 2 or 3 inches.
it'd be a blur.
I mean, it's crazy, right?
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, it's impressive that we actually get that close to each other. In the past 2 events, because we've only had 2 this year, 4 total, I guess, counting Saturday, Sunday. So,
Right.
we've had top 10 or 11 people all within a second of each other.
This last one was
Oh, yeah.
15. It was Sunday was from
Was it
first to
15?
15th place was 1 second difference.
Yeah.
That's what your dad found
Let's
out,
see.
Derek.
So, like on Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
for instance, 1st to 10th was 1.6 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty tight
It's
racing.
super tight.
And what we had, how many entrants did we have? 50?
50.
Yeah, I think about
Close to-
46 showed up,
Okay.
if I remember right.
Yeah. So, man, that's pretty good. I don't know. I don't know what it is from top to bottom. There's quite a range there, but
Yeah, we've
the
got
top
some
10's
different.
pretty quick.
We've got some people that, just like to go play with their car too, and
Yeah.
that aren't trying to
Sunday
be a top
driving.
10. Yeah, absolutely.
and that's totally fine.
They're
I
having
mean,
a great time.
and they're competing with the people in their group and
Right.
their buddies, and everybody's on their own playing field.
Right.
And that's gonna happen no matter where you're at. But I love it.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're all there.
honestly, for a long time, it was just me and Pop competing against each other.
Yeah, because you had the same car.
Exactly.
Right,
So it's
so-
like I can't compete at the top.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not competing for the bottom. I'll spend money if I'm competing to not be last.
Right.
But when you're running the same car, it's like, okay, this is my gauge, right? Like,
sure.
It's all driver versus driver.
Yeah.
And for a lot of years, that was the best I could do.
Yep.
So
And Don's no joke.
no, I mean he does really well. He drove the hell out of that car this
Oh,
weekend.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the last 2 weekends, both of you, you guys made some improvements to that car, and it shows. Like you guys
Yeah.
are all of a sudden at the top of the leaderboard, and it's like, holy shit, that's
You know,
awesome.
I
Amazing.
I had a lot of fun last month.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, thank God, it happened once, right?
Yeah.
Like,
You were in the competition. You're like, this is amazing.
It could
This
be
is
a
so cool.
fluke. It
Yeah.
didn't matter,
Yeah.
right? To me, I was just having a great weekend.
Yeah.
And then to come out this past weekend and
do it again.
actually be number 2 Saturday and
Yeah.
number 1 Sunday. I'm just really hoping that it doesn't, I'm not 12th next month, right?
You know that that Far Side
prove
cartoon that the one deer is looking at the other deer, and the other one's got a bullseye on his back, and he says, "Bummer of a birthmark, Hal."
Yeah, right.
Well, you got a bullseye on your
Oh
back.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And and I'm sure a lot of people are going to be doing a lot of things over the next 3 or 4 weeks, right?
I'm already planning on
Who would
coming
do
after
that?
I don't know. You were already asking me what I did, so
I went and ordered those parts, by the way.
Did you?
Oh, I did. Then I went home knowing I should have checked my car first because it's got all kinds of upgrades.
uh-oh.
Remembering that, I think it's already been done. Get the car up in the air. Yeah, sure enough, I've got camber kit already on it. Didn't
Oh.
need to order that. So those will be going back.
Well, you can't say that's why I beat you then.
Well, no. And I wouldn't anyway. I just didn't drive well, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's
We all have our day,
I could
man.
not keep. I couldn't keep up with that anyway. It was beyond me. I couldn't do it.
It was the stars aligned.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be perfectly honest with you. Like last month, I think I had my fastest run on like my third or fourth run in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
In the afternoon, I never even got close to that again.
Isn't that funny? How
Right.
that works?
And it happens that way a lot.
Yeah.
You know, for me, where it's like, man, my fourth or fifth run in the morning, if you lay down a stellar run, that might be it for the whole weekend.
Really?
But this past week, I mean, hey man, I'm blessed. I had a good time, hanging out with my good buddies, that are in here, except for the guy that ditched us last couple over here. To just be able to go out there and just lay down some good times and have a great time doing it, and having that camaraderie in the in grid with everybody. Everybody is.
Everybody's rooting for each other and against each other at the same time.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like you see that run come in, you're like, oh, that was awesome, and damn, I hope I can beat it.
Yeah. Exactly. Right.
It's like he didn't hit any cones. Oh no.
I know. Or
Yeah.
you see that super low number come across the board, and you're like, how did he do that?
Yeah.
And they drive by you, and you're like, was that clean? They're like, no.
No.
I got a question. I got a question for
Yeah.
you. How does it feel knowing that when you pull up to line, people are now going, oh, fuck. Here comes
Yeah.
Derek. There goes
It's
my
no-
time.
It's no joke.
I really just try and I try to just focus.
Yeah.
Right.
Focus on your own run.
Sit there at the
Yeah.
start line, take a deep breath, try to remember where the hell I'm going. Because that's always a challenge, right? A lot of these guys will go out there and walk that course 4, 5, 8 times in the morning. And I'm guilty. I just don't. All right. I take
You do it. You ride it once, right?
I take my little mini bike out in the
Yeah,
morning, and I'll
right
ride
on.
through it one time, just get an idea of where I'm going.
Yep.
But I think it was who was that? Mario Andretti, I think is who said it. He said somebody asked him one time, "Do you go out and walk the course and walk the track beforehand?" And he looked at that reporter and said, "There's nothing I can learn walking the track that I can't learn behind the wheel." Are there things I could learn walking the track? Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
But I just always go back and think about that, and I'm like, that's funny, because best laid plans, right? You go out
Yeah.
there, I'm walking it, I'm going to go this way, I'm going to hug this tight, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. And when you're flying through there at 70 miles an hour and all 4 wheels are pushing, I'm going where the car's going.
Yeah. Well, it's very true. It's such a different look. That first lap out, it's a warm-up lap anyway.
Yeah.
I don't care if you've walked it 3 times, 10 times. You get out there in the car, it's totally different.
100%.
It is totally different. Yeah.
Your car's a lot wider than you are,
Yeah.
right? You're out
No matter
walking
where
it.
you're walking it, trying to line yourself up. Am I lined up in the driver's seat? Where do I go?
Right.
I mean, the only thing it does for me is allows me to look at the course, and if there's options,
Yeah.
to look at those slowly first and say, I want to go left on this slow and right on
right.
that side. That's the only thing I need to remember when I get out there. I can read the course on the fly.
Yeah, and I'm fortunate to be able to do the same. But
Yeah.
like you said, I've gone and walked the course or ride the course because I don't know, I'm broken.
Yep.
And I'll say like there's an optional slalom, and I'll take the bike right. I get all the way down to the end, and I'm like, oh man, I really don't like this exit. Like, let's turn around, go back to the beginning of
And do
it,
it
take
again.
it left, and see where you kind of shoot out. I guess I could just get off the bike and kind of look,
Count it,
right?
yep.
But something about going through it while moving
Mm-hmm.
helps my brain anyway.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going fast or anything, but
So you're saying for like your warm-up lap, doesn't matter how fast, it's just kind of like your throwaway lap, right?
It is, yeah. Because my
What-
tires are cold anyway, so I'll be aggressive on it. I've never won anything on my first lap, but yeah.
So then what do you say about the people who compete with SCCA? Because they're only given 3 laps, and every lap's got to count. And
Yeah, agreed. But I guarantee you they're not winning it on their first lap.
I guess.
You can argue that if you want.
No, I know.
But
like for me,
I would bet, and this is a guess,
yeah,
majority of the winning laps come on number 3.
I would agree with that. I was also going to say it also probably depends on your tires.
Sure.
If you're got like a AO52 that heats up really quick and gets its grip, or like an RE71,
Yeah.
you're going to have your grip by your first gate or so and just keep going.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But you're also still learning the course in a car because you haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be really surprised. I bet the numbers are super low of anybody that sets their best time on the first one out.
yeah, I'd have to agree. I remember running with some clubs when we first started, where we got 3 runs in the morning, and then we always ran time only. We just never competed for points because if you ran a class, they had so many people like at Bremerton where they couldn't run every class in the AM. So they would separate you to AM and PM.
Oh, yeah.
And if you ran time only, I could run both. But if your class ran in the PM, you weren't even eligible to drive in the AM.
Right.
Because then you have an advantage over those that did.
Yeah, you can't even, if it's a scored deal, you can't even ride into somebody's car.
Right.
Yeah.
There's still clubs that do that right now. WMC is exactly that way.
Yeah.
If your class is in the afternoon, you don't get the morning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I like the way we do it. You get to drive morning and afternoon. We're guaranteeing 10 runs. We're trying to put out there more bang for your buck.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a lot of clubs that do that.
There are not a lot of clubs that do that. Some of them make you pay for morning and afternoon, and that just pisses me off.
Bremerton was that way, yeah. So
God,
you'd have like an
mad.
hour lunch break, and you'd have to actually, during that hour, you'd have to go stand back in registration line and re-register, and then, I don't know, they're probably doing all online payment now as well, like we are. But at that time, you'd stand in registration line and pay in the morning.
Yep.
And then during your hour lunch, you'd have to go back to registration and stand in line with, they'd have like 200 entrants. It was an insane amount of entrants.
Yeah.
And don't forget, you got tech inspection sometimes you got to do with that.
Yeah, you had to do tech inspection
Each
twice.
new club usually. Yeah, I don't know. It bothers me. I am not a fast starter. I can run a fast time in the morning runs usually. I probably wouldn't do well in SCCA with only 3 runs. Guaranteed my fastest one's going to be number 3, and it probably won't be that good.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I almost always get my fast runs number 4 and 5 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't this last weekend. It was number 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And I couldn't better it, but
I don't know why I fall off in the afternoon sometimes. If it's like, I ate too big of a lunch and I've been standing
your
out
reaction
there,
times got slow.
shagging cones for the last hour and a half, and I just don't wanna anymore. It's beer 30. Are we there yet?
Yeah, is it time?
Like we just hurry up, knock these out so we can go to the party.
There's been too much social going on, and
or I don't know what it is, but it happens quite often actually.
Probably a little bit of the tires heating up too.
Well, yeah,
there
we've
is some
got
car fall off.
sure. We've got 2 people driving my car too, so it's getting double the runs in those tires. We're going through tires a lot faster.
Yep.
And especially in the afternoon if it's hot, the tires get greasy. By the time say Pop's done running. So as soon as I jump in the car, first of all, I need to build up a couple pounds of air pressure because they've been sitting and he's been letting air out. And they're greasy.
Right.
So sometimes it could be hard, but it didn't happen this weekend.
That's when you water them down.
Worked out for you.
Just take your spray and get them so they're not so hot and for greasy.
Yeah. You got to kind of keep up on that. But
Yeah.
it does work.
But I also need to heat them up to get that air pressure back.
What? Oh, background noise. All right, everybody. Sorry, we got some background noise, but it is what it is.
I was kind of listening to Grant.
Hello.
We got to
I have such a romantic voice.
No, it's not that.
the bathroom voice.
The bathroom voice.
I got him in the corner over there. I think I need to put him in a box.
In a box?
Put a blanket over his head so it doesn't echo.
I'm a ghost.
Let's put some of those, what do they call them, eggshell
Egg crate
foam
pads?
or whatever.
Putting him around him only.
Yeah, that might work.
I might have a gun case in the car. We could just stick his head in that.
Perfect.
I will say our courses this weekend,
Oh, they're fantastic.
they were way better.
They're really good.
I mean, I was really mad at the guy that did Sunday's course last time. This time it was better.
Really?
Wasn't that you?
Yeah.
Same guy. Same guy knew the car.
Same guy. He did better. Yeah.
No, they were both really fast this weekend.
Yeah.
Fast and Sunday was more technical, I think, than Saturday. But
I think so.
Saturdays did have a technical section. The offsets were a little something.
I'll tell you what, a lot of people got hung up going into that chute with the wall of cones at the end of it.
Yep.
When I was on the floor making that jaunt to the right, some people went left. But yeah, a lot of people said, as we were talking to them, their brain was like let off.
Yeah, my brain. I was only able to hold it down twice, I think, through there. I chicken lifted almost every time. You can't comment your 4.6 liter.
What?
Because you could hold yours flat through there.
Okay, good point. I don't have the same speed as you mean.
No, not even close.
Okay, that's what you're meaning.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, try to hold a 7-liter flat through that thing.
I will give me the
It's
keys.
scary. It's scary.
Well, 5.7 was pretty scary too.
Yeah.
But
I saw the video of you going through there, and you held it.
yeah.
I mean, you shot through there. There was room, but it was scary. I was
There
just
was
like,
room.
every time through there, I was, yeah.
You know, and even on Sunday, you know, where you had at the second turnaround, you had to kind of sneak through a little spot like that.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
and the first couple times I went through there too, I was hammering on the brake before making that jog,
Yep.
and then you're back on the brake to make the turnaround. And honestly, that gap was plenty big enough for my car.
I think when I ran it Saturday night after I set it up, I was going faster through there than I did on Sunday.
Oh, really?
I honestly
Yeah.
think I was, yeah.
I mean, I'd lift, go through it, and then brake for the turnaround.
Yeah.
You know, by the end of the day,
Yeah.
anyway, right? The beginning of the day, it was like, oh my God.
I'm sure I gave up time there.
Crank, you know, hammer the brake, turn to left, straighten up, hammer the brake, make that turnaround. And you just really didn't have to do it.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot to be said for just trying it, you know.
Yeah.
So what? Take a couple of runs and see how many cones you hit going through those things full
God.
speed.
I have so many cone marks in my car from this weekend.
Hey, I did an epic spin though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did.
I
Quite
did.
the smoke show.
Yes.
Everybody that wasn't paying attention was paying attention then.
Yep, it was awesome. Yep. Tank slapped it, and after the second time sideways, I knew it wasn't coming back. And I'm like, all right, let's go around, and I just put it to the floor.
It looked exciting.
It was fun.
Would have been fun to be a passenger.
It was really fun because it came all the way around too.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, so that was cool.
No, who was I riding with? I was riding with Bailey,
Yeah,
and it's been a long time.
Bailey drives a souped-up MR2. Just
I mean,
for the listener.
I think it used to be an MR2 anyway. It's got
Right.
sheet metal of an MR2. That's
Yes.
about it, right?
Yes, it
Now it's a rocket
resembles a caged MR2.
Yeah, and he spun toward the passenger side, and it had been a while, man. All of a sudden, I was like, my mouth was full of dirt, my eyes were full of dust. I was like, holy shit! Like,
Yeah.
it's been a long time since I've been in the passenger seat of a car that's spun.
Yeah. Especially a high-speed spin.
Yeah, I mean, because, you know, Pop and I used to ride together all the time back when we first started with NWAC and with the Vipers. We had a dual driver lane,
Oh, yeah.
right? So we were always just rotating driver to passenger over and over and over again. Now that we're separated, you know, I still jump in cars and, you know,
Right.
do what I can. I think more people ride with me than I ride with them.
Yeah.
But usually when people are asking me to get in the car with them, it's because they want help.
They want pointers.
Right. They're not going out there balls to the walls and spinning that car around, and which is way more fun, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah, it
In the passenger seat.
Yeah.
You have zero control. You're just kind of grabbing the harness, and
Yeah.
you're like, close your eyes.
On for the ride. Going for the
As soon
ride.
as the dust hits your face, close your eyes. Yeah, it's wild.
I think I was pretty terrified the first time I spun in a car. And, of course, I was riding with Jamie in the silver Z06.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she did it on purpose at like 70 miles an hour. And
Well, you know,
that car is just so flat, you know, and it spun around 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
It was pretty amazing.
that car's a slot car,
Yeah.
for sure. It does not roll at all.
No body roll.
No.
No, that was pretty cool. But yeah, I think it, especially the first time out, it catches you off guard a little bit. You don't know what's coming, and you know
Yeah.
she kind of thrives on that kind of stuff,
Well, and
not telling you what's coming.
well, yeah. Well, we won't go there.
Yeah,
But you know what? People, you know, they give Pop crap sometimes about spinning out, and you know, there's a lot of us out there that spin out, and I'm guilty of it too, right? But at the end of the day,
heck yeah,
I mean, you don't know where the edge is until you found it,
right.
Yeah.
right? And you go,
Yeah.
oh, there it is.
Yep, found
Let
it.
off
I
a
guess
little
it
bit from
won't-
there.
It won't do that. I
Yeah,
guess.
exactly,
Yeah.
right? And I think the only way to get faster and to be as fast as you can is you've got to push that envelope to some degree. If you're always far away from it, then you're never going to find that potential, right?
Yeah.
So I really don't see anything wrong with it as long as you're not endangering anybody else. You know, the
Yeah,
four
no,
wheels
you
off
gotta-
track into grass,
Ooh, there we had a
course
couple of
workers
big ones
running
there.
all over the
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
Those, okay.
Looking at you,
Maybe
Stephanie.
maybe you picked the wrong spot to try that.
Yeah.
I think that there's some course awareness with that as well. I mean, even like on Saturday, coming out of that chute, on the floor, heading straight for that cone that started the turnaround.
Yep.
It was pretty close to the grass over there. And it wasn't super far away from those ecology blocks at the end of the runway.
Yeah.
So, if you want to come out of that chute in a hurry and spin it there, great. But afterward, you need to be on the brakes, under control before you try to make that turn. That's not the place to test the limit.
Yeah, I had that issue going on this weekend because my first spin out on Saturday was because of that. I was coming out super hot, more speed than I ever had, hit the brakes, and I wasn't slowing down. And you see that ecology block wall just coming at you, and I had to downshift and pop the clutch, anything I could to slow the car down, which it did, but ultimately spun the car. But, there's, if it was another car and a little bit faster, the brakes the same thing, it probably wouldn't have ended the same way.
No.
But it's, like Derek was saying, trying to find a limit, but also trying to be safe about it.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta know where to try, right? And I mean, a few of us were there when the fence was taken out.
Right.
And it was a scary moment.
Yeah,
for
right?
sure.
And then you don't want to be...
Actually, we all were there for that moment.
Was Jeremy there for that too?
I was.
Oh, you weren't?
No, I don't remember a fence ever getting wiped out.
Oh, well, I'll tell you about later. It was the day I was working on that car afterwards.
It's why the ecology blocks are there now.
Yeah.
To protect their new fence.
I did see John go up between some trees out in the dirt one time.
Liger did that too.
We've had some pretty good offs, but ultimately it's fairly safe.
I've been guilty of that too. Where it's like,
I've been out in the grass, not super deep, but
I've been out there.
I've been out there.
Yeah. Especially if it's a wet day.
Oh yeah.
Well, a high speed off. I mean, we try to use as much of that course as we possibly can because it's a little bit limited to width. I mean, it's pretty good. It's one of the best areas or best places we have to drive in the Northwest.
But it's getting more.
But we try to use it all.
Yeah,
and
I think
it's getting pretty worn. Yeah, like you said.
Yeah, we're getting more limited because of where we can put a car on it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we just have a new area that happened a few weekends ago where
it's all torn up.
It's just destroyed.
Yeah.
Right? You can't even use that part of the track anymore.
Right. Yeah. It's super bummer. It's really sad to see that because we're all gonna pay for it. Everybody that uses that space for autocross is gonna ultimately pay for that.
Well, if they ever do it.
I don't mean financially. I mean, we're going to lose the space, if that kind of stuff goes on. And the more the tarmac gets torn up, we won't even be able to utilize it. It won't be worth it anymore.
Because they're not going to fix it either.
Right.
Even if place did come available, it's the time to build it and stuff. And imagine all autocross groups in the area without Shelton for, let's say, 2 years, even 3 years, while something's being built.
Yeah.
Well,
I know that maybe it was 2-3 years ago, somebody got a price to repave that, put a new fresh coat of tarmac. It was $700,000. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
They'll never spend it. They'll never get their money back out of it. So
no.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. We got to take care of it as best we can.
Yeah. It's been a great place to be though, for sure. I mean, it's Pop and I used to go to several of them. At one time, we were running 3 weekends a month. I had a daughter, Pop hurt himself. We all kind of went through some things and decided, okay, time constraints, financial constraints, we're going to do one a month. And this is the one that we want to do. It's the best facility.
Right.
It's the best people. And I've really developed a really good race family here.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we're all here doing this right now.
Yep. From that.
Because of that.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, that community is super tight. I really like that. I mean, we get a new face to the crowd, 1 or 2 a year, maybe.
Yeah.
And the ones that stick around become part of that family. But typically, we know everybody there.
Yeah.
And we know everybody that's going to show up.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Well, even running registration on Sunday, right? I mean, I didn't realize how many of those people I actually knew who they were.
Yeah.
Like you walk around, I'm like, hey, how are you? I know that guy. But I just assume there's got to be some people there that I don't really know.
Yeah.
But when every single person walks up to the counter and you're like, oh, hey, how are you? And it's like, cross his name off the list, give him a workstation. I guess there was only like 2 people. I didn't know I didn't know their name.
Yeah, there was a couple of new ones this week that I didn't know anyway. But yeah, that's good. It's a good family.
It's a great family, great community.
Yep.
I mean, that's easy to do when it's invite only.
That is true.
NWAC's not though.
It's not.
NWAC's not an
NWAC's
invite only.
No, it's open enrollment until it's full.
The Viper one is invite only, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to know somebody to recommend you.
But that also then flows into the second day typically. Like
often.
Yeah.
Yeah. But honestly, we have more people that show up the second day than on Saturday.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, we also have a lot of people that run Saturday that don't stay for Sunday. I mean, there's 2 very core groups that run both those days. I mean, like Soren's never there on Sunday.
Yep.
Matt, him and his wife Danielle, right?
Yep.
They typically only run Saturday. You know, a bunch of great folks.
Absolutely.
But then you end up having, a lot of other great folks that do come on Sunday as well. So it's a good time.
Yep. So, Derek, the reason you're here, you got some project cars.
Ooh.
I might have
several.
I have
a whole barn full.
Yes.
I mean, I have a small barn.
Okay.
Let's start there. So it doesn't take much to fill it up, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I've got a few projects for sure. I mean, obviously the race car.
Yep. That'd be the primary.
Yeah, so it's a 99 Corvette fixed roof coupe. So it's an FRC. I've been racing it now for I guess about 15 years.
Wow.
Red.
Yeah, well, everything but the newest one is.
Yes, I'm afraid.
Everything but the newest one is red.
Really?
I actually have 3 cars with the same GM paint code.
Really? Wow. I didn't know that.
Torch red.
Torch red.
Wait, is it really called Torch Red?
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's what Liger's paint code is.
It's Torch red.
It's Torch Red by Ford.
It's got a GM paint code.
Yeah.
So you should put an LS in it and make it match.
I got engine options we could talk about later.
He's not putting a Godzilla motor in that.
No, I thought of a new motor we're putting into it, but we're talking about Derek's project now, not Grant's.
You could just piss off every Ford guy out there. It would tickle me pink, man. Just slam an LS3 in that car and get it over with.
Derek, I'm not going to lie. We've talked about this before. It's like 50% of SN or S197 owners do put an LS motor into it.
It fits.
I know it does.
Fits
and it
nicely.
makes more power than... It makes good power for the price you can get for an LS motor.
Oh, and there's parts everywhere.
It's true. It is true.
Right? So anyway, yeah, it's kind of a convoluted story how we got there. I mean, if I'm being honest with you, right? So we ended up getting this car.
If I'm being honest.
to be fair.
To be fair.
It's funny, Pop wanted to go racing.
Yep.
Right? And of course, I mean, who doesn't want to go racing? So
yeah, sounds
like
a great idea.
So we ended up he went to a Corvette club meeting out in Auburn, Washington, trying to figure out, where's the racing at? How are we going to do this kind of thing? He had a 2008 C6 Corvette.
Okay. He still has that, doesn't he?
No, he's on his 3rd one now.
Oh, okay.
I guess.
All right.
So we went and we were talking to some people, and a guy stood up. He was an NWAC representative, I guess. Said, "Hey, if anybody wants to, go racing, come talk to me after the meeting." Blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. So, of course, we go over there. We're talking to him, and Pop's like, "Oh, okay, I got to be, part of a club and all this." He's like, "Oh no, you can just be a member at large." That was the last Corvette meeting he ever went to.
Oh yeah.
I did not.
Until recently.
Well, now he's a board member, right?
We recruited him.
Yeah. So he's like, I didn't want to come to these meetings. I just wanted to go racing.
Yeah.
So he went out with his C6. I don't remember what was going on. I couldn't go. He came back and was just ranting and raving about how great it was, and I have to go. So I went down there with him. He wouldn't let me drive his car. BS. Something about, I can't afford to replace it. Whatever. Right? You are driving in a spirited fashion, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I rode with him that day. Man, we had a great time. I was like, dude, there's no way I'm going to ride in this passenger seat. I'm going to go. I have to do this. Mm-hmm. So I brought one of my Camaros out there, and at the time, Randy, I think, was the president.
Oh, yeah.
And they were only doing Corvettes at that time.
Yep.
And I was just like, hey, Randy, my Camaro's got a Corvette motor in it. Like, can I just come play and try it out? And Randy's a freaking awesome dude. And he's like, yeah, man, come on out. Not a big deal. So I went out again. So it's Pop's third time. It's my second time. I loved it. That car is not made for that.
Which Camaro?
I have a 93 F1 Z28.
Okay.
So it's the first year of the fourth gen LT1 motor, 6-speed manual. It's got the Z28 as well as the OEM F1 package as well. But I just didn't want to destroy my baby.
Yeah, well, super fun car, but not for that.
No, yeah. And, you know, it's a 93, man. I mean, it's got collector plates on it.
Oh, boy.
Does it really?
It does now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the state of Washington, you guys were just recently talking about that 25-year rule. State of Washington's 30.
Oh,
Is it really?
Yeah. So I just got collector plates on it last year.
Okay.
Nice.
But it's only got like 72,000 original miles on it.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to beat it up, and talking to Pop, and he's like, I don't really want to beat up mine either. And next thing you know, we have a 99 fixed roof coupe.
Perfect.
And we ran that thing stock for, 10 years probably.
Yeah.
Didn't change a thing. We, brake pads upgrade.
Yeah. Tires.
And we did some Bilstein shocks.
Okay.
No coilovers. I mean, I'm still running the transverse
Leaf.
mono shock. Yeah, mono leafs.
Yeah.
Just went and played, had fun, right?
And that's the best thing about that car is you can do that.
Yeah.
For a long time.
A long time.
Yeah.
I mean, when we finally decided, hey, we're out driving the car.
Yeah. Time for
It's
some
like,
upgrades.
okay, we got to start doing stuff.
Yeah.
So really the mods have only started over the last, 4 or 5 years, I suppose, aside of from brakes and tires.
Yeah. Just little things here and there. And I know that we've talked about that before too. You don't have to go great guns. You don't have to go all in. You can just build a little bit at a time.
Yep.
Well, I mean,
That's
you could buy a car.
the best thing about that car.
Yeah, you could buy a car and then spend $30,000 on, some 700 wheel horsepower engine.
Yeah.
But it's not going to make you drive it any better.
Nope.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, if you don't know how to drive the car, all the horsepower in the world's not going to help.
No. It's going to get you in trouble.
Yeah. Well, it's, what did we talk? 4 wheels off in the grass.
Yep.
What now?
Yeah.
I feel like we've talked about this before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. A reoccurring thing.
Yeah.
So, it took a while to really kind of get there. We worked, both of us, through some different financial issues, injury issues, took some time off. Didn't get a lot of the seat time that really wanted to, but it's all been coming back around again over the last 5 or 6 years, I suppose, maybe 7 years. And we started doing some things.
Yeah.
Bought a donor car that was wrecked.
Oh, I didn't even know you did that.
Yeah, so we bought
Seems like maybe I saw some pictures, but I put it out of my mind. I was like,
Yeah.
no, they're not. No.
Well,
No.
we ended up, we wanted to do the motor.
Yeah.
Right. Decided, we want an LS6 engine to put in it to have the 243 heads on it. So basically the Z06 motor, for the C5 Corvette, really.
Right.
Guy had one for sale. I believe it was an 02 Z06. Said he fell asleep at the wheel at 35 miles an hour. I called.
Your 30 was that late.
I call BS. Or when you fell asleep, you put your foot on the floor.
Okay.
I mean, he hit a telephone pole or a tree with the driver door hard enough it broke the halo out of that car.
Oh, wow.
I've got some pretty wild pictures. 3 of the 4 wheels were actually broken.
Shattered. Yeah.
He split the bell housing.
Ooh.
I mean,
Ooh.
yeah. If you fell asleep, your foot went to the floor.
Wow.
More than likely, you had your foot on the floor just doing something stupid. And
Yeah, probably.
You broke your car.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, we pulled that motor out, completely rebuilt it. It's got the same crank and, piston rods and pistons, but we redid all the injectors, lifters, cam, had the heads ported, polished, decked, really everything that we could on the top end of the motor without going too radical. I don't remember all the lift and duration and all out of the cam that we did. We did get I believe it's an LS3 Stage 2 cam from BTR.
Did you guys follow a build sheet when you did that originally? Like, what made you follow which parts to pick? Did you find a form online that's like, this is a good build, or a YouTube video, or what?
Endless hours of mindless research. Yeah.
It's almost painful.
Yeah, 100%. I give a lot of credit to Pop. I'll be perfectly honest with you. he did way more research than me. He's got the time.
Yeah.
I've got the young kid to travel for work, you know, all that. He's retired, and he's like gave me a bunch of options, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah, do that.
You know, where's the wrench? What do you want me to do? Right?
Yeah.
Let's learn this together, because, you know, Pop's been a big car guy for a long time, but even he had never pulled apart an LS.
Yeah.
So it was new for both of us. Really, it was a fun time, and, you know, I feel very fortunate and very blessed, you know, have a relationship like this with my father.
Yeah.
We do all of this together. We work on the car together. We drive together. We split all the costs of everything. You know, so we're both fully committed and, you know, and into the car, right?
That's awesome.
You know, we just did our cheapest upgrade I think we've ever done, and got the biggest bang for our buck so far, it feels like. So,
Yeah.
you know, camber kit.
Yeah.
Go buy one.
Did.
Yeah, well, apparently you already had one.
Yep, I did.
So you bought your second one.
I did. I bought another one.
You probably got another car you
so
can put it
dumb.
on.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't.
So yeah, we had that donor car. We stripped it, man.
Yeah.
We took every part that we thought we could use that as a backup, and then every part that was left, including the carpets.
Sold it
I mean,
all.
everything.
Yeah.
Sold as much as we could.
Absolutely.
And basically we got a free motor.
Yeah.
I mean, before the upgrades and all that, but we got more off the parts that we sold off that car than we paid for the car.
Yeah.
So we got a free donor motor,
Yeah, that's
basically.
awesome. Yeah.
So
Super good. That's the way to do it.
it was a good time. It was a good learning experience, and, you know, again, just time with my father. So.
Yep. And you got a bitchin' car out of it.
Oh yeah.
You know, it was really exciting the first time I put my foot to the floor in that car with the new motor,
Yeah.
and realized, oh, yeah, I can't do that yet.
This
Right,
thing's got
like-
more power.
Oh, I have over 400 rear wheel horsepower now. It's not
Yeah.
whatever
Got to relearn it.
345 at the crank or whatever it came in that car from the
yeah.
factory, right? And all of a sudden I'm pushing over 400 at the wheel, and it got my attention the first time I put my foot on the floor. Like, oh, I need to be pointing all the way straight first.
Yeah. So that's exciting stuff, though, too. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
It was like getting a new toy,
You bet.
really. So yeah, we got some more work to do on the car. It's definitely not done, but we've done a lot over the years. I mean, long tube headers, you know, I love them. I love the way they sound. Makes the car breathe better. If I had to do it over again, I'd probably never get long tube headers, only because they are in the way of everything.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, just to put that camber kit in,
Yeah.
I had to take the freaking header out so I
Really?
could get a hammer in there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you can change the battery. That's
Yeah, it's in the
probably
back.
that's probably
Is
it.
yours in the back?
No, it's in the front.
Is this specifically for Corvettes? Because I've been thinking about doing that to Liger for the longest time, and then
What, camber or?
no headers. Like, do they get in the way, like specifically for
Probably.
Corvettes?
No, they probably get in the way of yours,
I mean,
too.
they get in the way.
I don't know that for sure, but
Yeah, they get in the way of all kinds of stuff. Remember
Yeah.
Bob Hollywood? He was always telling us, we were talking about it. He's like, don't get those headers. They're in the way of you'll always be taking those headers
yeah,
off. And
I
we're
always
like,
have to take mine out.
and we're like, yeah, whatever, man. But now,
Yeah.
of course, it's like, he was right.
Yeah.
That's why you put zoomies that stick out of the hood out.
Zoomies.
Yeah, little short exhaust that stick out of the hood.
Isn't
Like
that
a zoom.
isn't that the brand name of Dave Kindig's?
Shoe company?
No, his exhaust cutouts or whatever that
I
he
have no
uses.
idea.
No idea.
Never heard it called that.
You never heard it called zoomies?
No.
Oh,
I think it's a you thing.
oh, no, I heard that back when I was at Wyotech when we had the drag race class.
Okay.
Okay,
I've heard of dumpers.
or shorties. No, they're zoomies.
Those dump out behind
I
the
don't know.
tire, though.
Yeah.
Front tire.
Pop
I
your
think
caps
he's talking
off.
about the ones that come
Straight up out of the
out of the hood.
Yep.
It's just
Sounds
four
off.
on a side,
Sounds
right?
terrible.
You need one of those tractor flappers on the top there to keep
Keep the rain out.
rain and possibly rodents.
That's
We had that
amazing.
problem
Oh,
with
yeah.
one of our drivers this weekend. That
Yes,
was
we did.
unfortunate.
Thought it was pretty funny because we saw a mouse running across the track after it came out of his car.
Well, it was funny after he got it fixed and got the car to the track, but it was unfortunate for Saturday.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
for Saturday, but
But,
yeah,
yeah.
did you see the mouse?
I didn't. You guys were telling me about it,
Yeah,
though.
it jumped out of his car after he stopped.
I'm sure I was having to man the gate for all the
It was
umpteen
hilarious.
dozen people that kept showing up
Yeah,
after the fact. But
yeah. Anyway, yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
So let's talk Camaros.
Yeah, so I have my 93. Golly, man, I've probably had that car for close to 20 years now. It's what all the rich kids had in high school.
Yeah.
Right. I graduated in 02. So that 4th gen Camaro was the bee's knees, right? It was the jam.
It was the prime to have at that time.
Yeah. And everybody had the V6. You know, just like the Mustangs of that same era. Yeah. You know, they all had the Mustangs and the Camaros. And
they had the Antonio car.
Yeah, they all had the V6 automatics. And I must have been, I think I was 22. And, man, I just had to have, like, the biggest, baddest, nastiest one I could find. Got really lucky, found this car. Has an LT1 in it, 6-speed, Tremec in it. It's like a freaking race car, man. It really is. But it's a pig. It just likes to go in a straight line. I mean, you can spiritedly drive it, but when I was in autocross, it was just a wheel burner, man.
Yeah.
So I love that car. I will probably never do anything to that car.
So
I've thought about it.
You've never restoration, quote unquote, restoration of any kind to it?
No, it has a coffee stain on the passenger side carpet.
Yeah. Still there.
Still there.
Yeah.
And I think it the underdrive pulley was replaced by the previous owner, trying to pull some power there. The story that I was told on that car was that the owner of Auburn Chevrolet took that car. He used it as a demo car. So the F1 package includes stripes and staggered wheels and all this kind of other some other performance upgrade things, and he ended up he did the stripe delete and has square wheels on it so that you can rotate wheels. Otherwise, he got the full F1 package. It was a Z28. It was the first one of the 4th gen, so that he could drive it around kind of as a sales promo deal.
Yeah.
Didn't drive it much and only put like 30,000 miles on the car, and sold it to the guy that I bought it from, who basically was a garage queen. I mean, he put another 30,000 miles or so on the car. I think when I bought it, it only had like 60,000 miles.
Well, you haven't even put that many on.
I haven't put a lot. I went through some financial issues, as we all do. Again, I bought the car at 22.
Yeah.
Decided to get married, have children, all those fun things. And it actually
Starting
sat.
life.
Yeah, and it sat in Pop's his old shop.
You're lucky to have been able to keep it.
Yeah, I know.
Because we all have that car that we bought, and we're like, kick ourselves for selling it.
It sat there for 7 years
and
never even started the thing. It was 100 miles away from my house, sitting in his shop. Every now and again, I'd go visit over there and drink some beer and stare at it.
Yeah.
And I contemplated selling it several times, and my wife told me not to do it.
Good for her.
I'm not going to tell you to sell your car. I'm sure you'll hate me one day, and I know you'll hate yourself.
That's some forward thinking.
Yeah, so there it sat, right?
I got respect for that wife.
I do too.
Yeah,
no doubt.
I picked well. We'll say that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't really done anything to that car. It's my baby.
Yeah.
I take it out for a Sunday drive here and there. I just turned the insurance on it yesterday, so that hopefully I can play this weekend with it a little bit.
Nice.
But yeah, I've had that car forever. Now I've got the 1986 Z28. So I'm building my Z28 fleet.
I like it.
I already told my wife that I'm looking at another Z28, and then she will have to park outside.
Well, that'll make her happy.
So remember that whole I picked right thing?
Yeah. We'll see how that goes.
That didn't go over well.
That's one thing you can't kick the wife out of her parking spot.
Yeah. That's when you build the garage bigger.
Yeah.
She said, garages are made for parking in. I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna park in there. And just
you're not.
So the 86 is a third gen.
Third gen, yeah.
So are you now looking at Gen 2?
I am.
Z28's got to be 78.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So, I'd love one, with the kind of the cone on it that doesn't have the bumper and all that. I know the early ones kind of had the split bumpers and some of the
the 70 to 72.
Yeah.
I think you could get it in 73 also. They came with a split bumper.
With a split bumper.
They also, some of them had the pointy bumper. The one I had the point.
Right.
The
What year was yours?
RS, a 72.
72.
Yeah. And would kill to have that car back. But,
yeah. There, I tell you what.
I don't think you could get a Z28 in that year.
No.
It wasn't until 77, 6 or 7.
Somewhere in there,
the
yeah.
Z28, yeah.
And I mean, the Z28 really, at least in the third gen, is just a freaking badge, man. I think my Z28 from the factory had, because it's smog era and all that. It's at the end, toward the end of the smog era, but it was made in Van Nuys, California, in that factory plant down there. It was supposed to be a California car, so it had every smog thing you could possibly put on the car.
Yeah.
And I think it said it like 165 horsepower from the factory. It might have been 185 from the factory.
Is it? Well, it depends on what motor package.
It's got the LG4, which is the smallest one.
305.
Yeah. It was the smallest one that the Z28 had, and it was at LG4.
Yeah.
So, of course, I was looking at IROC Zs and all that, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, shit, man. They're all road hard, put away wet. They're all...
They were at the time. I mean, yeah, good luck.
Right.
Yeah.
So, really, to find a decent car for a decent price is like, screw the IROC, right? Of course, I wanted a 350.
Yep.
But you couldn't buy a third-gen Camaro with a 350 and a manual gearbox. They were automatics only.
Really? I didn't know that.
So I can't remember what, 5-speed they put in those cars, but
T5 was in there originally.
Yeah, there you go. It's a T5. So it couldn't handle the horsepower of the 350. So all 350 third gens had automatics in them.
Wow. I didn't know that.
And then I ended up buying an automatic anyway.
Yeah.
So, thinking ahead, like, I was thinking to myself, like, of course, I want a third gen, and then I'm going back for the second. But I wanted to get my kid off of the screen, away from the iPad, all that. I wanted her to come out in the garage and play with me. So I told her it's her car. Now,
I mean, it's an automatic.
We'll have that argument
later. She's not going to want it. When it comes to that time that she actually gets to drive, she'll be like, I don't want to drive that. That's embarrassing.
No way.
Because I'm never going to paint that car.
Oh, that's really embarrassing.
It's going to stay the way it is, paint-wise.
Primer gray or something? So it's a gray.
It's got, some clear coat left.
Oh, okay.
Not a lot.
She's not going to want it. I think you're in the clear.
I mean, last time that happened with a Camaro that was like really in bad shape and didn't want to be bought, it ended up being a Transformer.
Jesus.
The 2010.
All right.
It was
Bumblebee.
So let's talk about the second gen real quick. I looked it up.
Okay.
Second gen is 70 to 1981.
Yep.
The Z28 package was available from 1970 to 1975.
They did have it in 70.
Discontinued because of fuel prices and the fuel crisis. It came back in 1977.
Nice. Okay.
And was produced until 81.
It only took,
a
2-year break then?
Yeah.
My sister had the 78 Z28.
3-year break.
3-year break.
Yes, I think. Did I say 75?
The Gen 2 is harder to find than the Gen 1s.
What's that?
Is the Gen 2 is harder to find than the Gen 1s? Because I feel like everyone restores the Gen 1s and you find them in really good condition, but you never see the Gen 2s anymore.
No, there's a lot of Gen 2s out there, but there's a lot of shitty ones.
Yeah, there's just none in good condition.
Well,
right?
there are some, but they're really expensive right now.
They're really expensive if they're done. Yeah. It's all cyclical, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the third gens are starting to go up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right now, the fourth gen, the car I'm sitting on, I almost don't want to look up what they're actually worth, because the last time I did, I was shocked.
$85,000.
No.
Joke.
But you got to think about it too. Like, I turned 40 this year, right? So once you kind of get into your 40s, you're starting to make a little bit more money. You're more kind of, I guess, you're where you're going to be, right? You got your family and all of that. You're more established.
Looking back at those cars you had in your youth.
Right, and you're like, man, I want that car I had in high school.
100%.
And then, people are willing to pay for it, right? Yep. It's a nostalgia thing.
100%.
And it's all buyer perspective.
Yeah.
We had a whole episode on that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then you were talking about first gens. I mean, Really, they only made them for 3 years.
Yep.
All 3 years were different.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you can easily pick them out, or I can anyway. I can know exactly which one it is. I mean, that fast, right?
Right.
So there's guys that want the first one. There's guys that want, you know, the 69 because it was the last one. And, you know, I'd love a 69 Z28. But
how about a 99 Z28?
A 99 Z28?
Yeah, that's a third gen. It's 9,500.
99 is a fourth gen.
Isn't it?
Oh, fourth gen. Sorry. Yeah, you're right.
It's how much?
9,500.
And how many freaking horrible miles are on it?
73,000.
That's it.
That's low.
Wow.
That's
There's
not
also a 2000 Z28 with 77 for 15,900.
So I think it was in
59's a little high.
Yeah.
99, maybe 2000s when it went to the LS motor as well. So I've got the LT, the 93. I've ran into some problems looking at for different parts, like just like the switches, the levers that actually work my console and stuff. The 93 was a 1 year car.
Oh,
So a lot of the parts
that's tough.
were a 1 year part.
Yeah.
They actually changed that platform a little bit in 94. And they just, I mean, they were kind of in that limbo period, right? Where it was like, it's too old. Chevy's not making anymore, right? GM's not making those parts.
Right.
But it's too new where no aftermarket guy's making those parts.
Not yet.
It's the guy with the freaking mullet and his hat turned around backwards, just wrenching
out.
away,
Bubba.
right? Hey, man,
Yeah.
I just bought an 86 with the T-tops, buddy. I need to start growing my mullet. So, you know, so they just wasn't out there. It wasn't available, right? Now, I mean, shit, I can buy every part for that car.
Yep.
You know, it's kind of like
coming back around.
Yeah, it's like the 86. I mean, there are websites. I can find every single part I look for.
Yeah. That's amazing.
They're not all cheap,
Right.
but I mean,
But you can get it.
that's part of working on cars.
Yeah.
And
No,
nothing's
that's kind of
cheap.
cool. I do like the early Gen 2 stuff. That's kind of my jam. I really like that body
Yeah.
style. When they went to the fiberglass bumper, I lost interest.
Yeah.
Even the 75 through 78, they still had a steel bumper. Those are better.
Yeah.
Still not my favorite, but better.
You know, when they're all, it's so wild, like, because the second gen went for, what, 14 years? 13 years?
70 to 79?
Weren't they
Second
into
gen?
the early, they weren't in the early 80s too?
81.
Oh, you said 81. That's right.
Yeah.
81.
So
Yeah.
11 years. I mean, they don't all look the same.
No, they
Right?
don't.
I mean, they're very different cars.
And that's what's kind of weird about that. They're calling the 70 to, when did they change that body style? To the 70 to 73 look completely different from the 74 to 81.
Yeah.
Or 74 to 79, and then the 80 and 81 are even different again.
Yeah.
And it's all body stuff. They were basically, I think, on the same platform, same wheelbase, same all of that.
I think so, but I don't know.
But they look different.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
I mean, now what they're saying on their Gen 6, and I was like, I thought it was still a Gen 5. And I
Because
was
they
arguing
look
with
the same.
somebody. He's like, oh, it's a different platform, different motor, all this. I'm like, well, hell, the Gen 4 could have been split into two then.
Yeah.
I mean, you went from recessed headlights
Gen
and
2 could have been
LT
split into
motors,
three.
and then you went to the, you know, flush headlights and LS motors. Like,
Yep.
I mean, that's a platform change just in the drivetrain alone. But
Mustang owners are dealing with the same exact thing, Derek.
yeah, so it's like,
Yeah, that's true.
I don't
Yeah.
understand where they're coming from with some of that. I know they probably changed up some framing or I don't know, whatever. But
Yeah. How do they call it a different generation? Like,
Yeah, I
what
don't
is
know.
their
they
criteria?
put LED lights in it instead. I don't know.
Ooh, neat.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I know
So-
I know them by looks, right? I don't
Yeah.
even half of them. I don't even know what platform they're sitting on.
Yeah, I don't either.
Really,
Yeah.
Really. I mean, at least the newer cars, right? The later
Yeah.
stuff. I'm like, I have no idea.
no idea. I don't mind them. I actually like the Camaros still. I think they're a good looking car.
I mean, you
Oh, I
give me
agree.
a ZL1 1LE,
Oof.
I'll take that car any day.
Oof.
Thank you.
yeah.
Or even their Z28 straight
Z28.
track pack.
Well, the SS.
I mean, the only problem with the Z28 now is that it's a track car. I mean, it's got nothing in it, right? It's stripped, and I don't even know how many of those they made.
No, I don't know.
I'm sure they didn't make many.
If we had somebody that knew how to work Google, we could figure that out.
No.
Wait, was that hint at me or Jeremy?
You.
Oh.
I don't know. You're over there playing with your flip flop, so.
I'm playing with a bottle cap. It's an ADD thing, okay? Anyways, Derek, didn't you have a Gen 1 Camaro?
I did not have a Gen 1 Camaro. Pop had a 67 RS convertible 4-speed.
Okay.
He put a crate, I believe it was a 327 in it. Dream car of mine, man. I'm so in love with that first gen Camaro.
Yeah.
Never had it street worthy, and then a guy showed up with a big stack of cash, and there went the car.
Oh.
So I never got to drive it. I'm still upset to this day about it.
Yeah.
Definitely one of those cars where it's a dream of mine just to drive one. I mean, I could just cruise to the local tavern and back and just be a happy guy and be like, take my picture in the driver's seat.
I think we know.
I drove one.
I think we know at least 2 people we could probably get you to drive one.
I know,
Yeah.
and John is such a nice guy,
Yeah.
and I mean, he let Pop drive his this
this weekend.
He actually told me too, Saturday night, I want you to drive my car. And I was like, well,
And
yes.
you didn't just go get in the driver's seat?
Well, because it was going to be, I was going to drive it on Sunday.
Yeah,
and shit, man, the competition was there. And
Fierce.
it took all 10 runs to take first place. And I
Yeah,
just wasn't
true.
willing to give that up.
No, I don't blame you.
Maybe
Maybe next weekend.
Pop got to drive it during John's run group.
Yeah.
I mean, so
He got
Pop
a
still got his
free
10
run.
runs and then still drove
Yeah.
John's car once or twice. I can't remember.
Yeah. I saw him in the seat. I'm like, what is happening right now?
It's hard to miss him with that Easy Rider paint job he's got on his helmet,
Yeah.
which I love, by the way.
Yeah.
Our neighbor
funny.
did that. He's a car painter.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. So when they said you had to put the sticker on your helmet for the
Tech
to
inspection,
check your
yeah.
helmet or whatever, I
Yeah.
was like, hey Jim, there's no way he's gonna put that sticker on his helmet. Like, it's custom paint job. He's not putting a sticker on his
Honestly, I
helmet.
was surprised it was a rated helmet.
Yeah, I mean he bought it specifically for this,
Yeah.
right? When a couple of years ago we had to upgrade our helmets.
Yeah.
And then he stripped all the rubber and shit off of it and sanded it, and the neighbor painted it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Anyway, I think you could still probably make that dream come true.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I wish
yeah.
John showed up on Saturday afternoons, like after we're done. So
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Let's go test the course in your car.
There you go.
Exactly. Always looking for somebody else to test the course.
Derek.
Well, Rob, you know where I'm at. I'm just usually, 12-pack deep by the time you're done.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
I wouldn't mind testing your car on the course.
Well, I don't know how many secrets I want to give you.
Yeah, I know.
true. Yeah. Derek,
If you're not 12 deep, you can drive mine.
Yeah, done deal. Let's
Okay.
do it.
All
What's
right.
up, Grant?
do you know what my first Camaro drive was?
What?
A 1967 Camaro when I was like 21.
And you drove it?
Yeah,
Oh,
I worked at a speed shop. Was my first job fresh out of Wyotech actually. So I was 22, and one of the cars I had there was a 1967 red with white top Camaro with a 545 built big block in it.
Yikes.
And I was told every morning to fire it up and bring it outside to put outside. And let me tell you, that was nerve-wracking because I knew if I spun the tires, because it was cold on concrete, then bringing it to asphalt, I would have lost my job. So also it was carbureted too, so you had to make sure it didn't flood it, fire it up every time, and get out. And it was always nerve-wracking, 5-speed. God damn, that car left such an impression on me.
One of the reasons I, of course, wanted to kind of start getting back into cars again, with the older stuff, with my third gen, is that I wanted a carbureted car. I've never had a carbureted vehicle personally, and I tell you what, doing the Michael Jackson on that gas pedal to get him moving
Yeah.
for cold starts is an experience for sure.
Oh, man.
I've always had manual transmissions. I didn't get my first automatic until I was 27, and I bought my pickup. I hate just riding in the car, man. I just want that feel of, moving the stick around. I'm driving the car. I'm not, riding in a Tesla along for the ride
You
kind
want
of
to be
thing.
engaged.
Right.
But now that I drive so many god-awful miles for work,
Yep.
God bless an automatic.
Yeah, but you love that car. You love that rental. Segway.
I mean, it's not a bad rental. I
Segway.
finally got an email this week asking what color I wanted my company car to be, and I was like, I haven't been told when it was going to get ordered. Do you even know what kind of car it is or an ETA on it? I've been driving a rental car since September.
Yeah.
And he's like, it sounds like it's going to be a Toyota Highlander hybrid.
Oh, interesting.
But it's going to be red.
There you go.
See there? I'm getting back to the red. That's one thing about my 86. Cheers. It's not red.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a red Harley. I got a red Camaro. I got a red pickup. I got a red freaking race car.
I didn't realize you were all about the red cars.
So the Corvette, my 93 Camaro, and my pickup are all torch red, GM torch red. And then
You did say that you had
wicked
three
red.
cars that were torch red, but
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was a
And then
thing.
the Harley's like I don't know. Harley's got weird names for their colors. It looks like a wine color to me, but they call it like wicked red or whatever.
I thought you were cross-referencing it. It's torch red.
It's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's my first non-black motorcycle. It's weird.
Okay.
All my cars were red. All my motorcycles were black.
Yeah.
So I crossed over.
Yeah. Went to the other side.
Now my motorcycle's red. But, I got a Harley Street Glide. I love that bike. I've been wanting a Harley my whole life. I used to ride a lot of Yamahas. But, man, you leave the bar and go to find your bike. It's hard to find your bike if you've got a black Street Glide.
They're all black. Yeah.
I mean, Pop had a great picture. He went to a big showroom, and they had a whole freaking place full of black Street Glides. And they had one white one and one red one.
Oh, yeah.
And probably 98 black ones.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, there's your showroom floor.
Yeah.
They've gotten better now. They've got a bunch of different colors, and they try to spread them around. But it was so funny. I mean, you walk into the dealership, that's all there is.
It's probably all anybody really wanted for a long time. It's got to be black.
Yeah.
It just has to be black.
Batman.
Black and orange.
My crotch
Harley
rocket,
colors.
I felt like that was my bat bike.
Yeah.
Got to be honest. It was flat black primer, and I had grand illusions of painting it, and I just never did.
Wow.
It was probably more like Sons of Anarchy did that.
So you're in search of a Gen 2.
Yeah.
Do you know what year?
I don't, and I'm not
year
searching.
range? Because they are vastly different.
Yeah, and I'm not searching super hard at this
Yeah.
point. It's just, I told my wife,
It's coming.
the dream of mine would be to have one of every
each.
generation
Sure.
up through at least 4
Yeah.
in my garage all at one time.
That'd be cool.
I like the 5 or 6 or whatever. They look the same to me.
Yeah, they do.
But it's just
Somebody that owns both of those and be like, they're so different.
whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But shit, man, for the price,
Yeah.
I'd rather buy something else and play with it. I mean, I got my 86 from Jason.
Right.
Great shell of a car. I mean, I looked at a lot of those cars. Most of them are just, like I said,
Trashed.
road hard, put away wet, right? Nobody cared about them. They just drove the hell out of them. And this one, it's got its issues for sure. Pulling apart that Rochester Quadrajet carburetor for the first time, I started having some panic attacks about halfway through. There's like 400 parts in that thing.
It's ridiculous.
And you're like, oh my God, is this ever going to go back together the way I took it apart?
Right.
And it did, and it runs great. Thank
good.
you.
Cool.
But, he had a really nice car to start with. I mean, there's hardly any rust spots on that car at all.
Oh, that's amazing.
The typical scaling and crap like that from a 40-something-year-old car, on the frame and whatnot. But, I mean, the wheel wells are clean. The bottoms of the doors are clean.
Wow.
The rocker panels are clean. It's got paint issues, cosmetic issues, but there's no cancer in the car.
Yeah.
That's good.
amazing.
Which is amazing. And
Yeah.
then, God, he gave me a swinging deal on it. Again, it's not red.
Yet.
It is an automatic.
For now.
But
Both of those things can be fixed.
Yeah.
I know, but man, for the price, I just I'll take it. I don't even care. He sent me a couple of pictures, and I said, I'm on my way.
Yeah. Trailer's hooked up here.
Here I come. So does this weekend work for you?
Right.
Get it out of his house before he gives it to somebody else, right?
Yep.
He was going to totally strip it out and turn it into another race car like,
Right.
His current one. So I almost feel like I kind of saved that car to some degree. before it started getting cut, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Because he's, they run the massive tires on those cars. They cut the wheel wells out, and
I mean, he's running 335 square.
I know it's insanity.
It is insane.
Well, and and the wheels that he had on it, when I bought the car, they have those real wheels. It's Real Racing or whatever they are.
Yeah.
They're like aircraft aluminum 3-piece wheels.
Really?
I think it was a 12 and a half in the back and an 11 in the front or something.
Wow.
They were
That's what was on it?
yeah,
Holy
and
cow.
old slicks, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you let off the brake and the freaking tires would spin.
Wow.
Because they were just hard. And,
Yeah.
oh man, it was a trip. And if you just breathed on the brake pedal, it would lock up the left side and it would just slide sideways under under idle.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell's wrong with this thing?
Zero traction. It might as well be plastic.
Yeah. And of course, I'm already there, and he told me that these problems were happening, and I'm like, yeah, man, whatever, just put it in the trailer. I'll figure that out when I get home, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of work to the car. I mean, not a ton, but new struts up in the front, new shocks in the back, some like a tubular panhard bar in the back. I've got tubular A-arms for the front. I haven't put them in yet. I was actually going to do that when I did the front brakes and the struts and all that here a couple weeks ago. But then when I started looking at it, I was like, oh, wow, the sway bar hooks into this different than the stamped sheet metal one from the factory. And I'm glad I looked before I started busting ball joints, 40-year-old ball joints off.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do it. I was like, okay, I'm just going to
Just wait.
I'll wait. It's actually got a massive sway bar up front. I mean, it's as big, if not bigger, than my Johnny O'Connell's that I have on the race car.
Oh, wow.
I was not expecting that, but they're all scaled
Had it been
up.
replaced, or was it?
I don't know, man. If it did, it was a long time ago. I mean, because it's just as scaled up as all the other steering parts and the frame underneath.
Yeah.
If there was a sticker on it, it's long gone.
Sure.
So I have no idea if it's, what came with the car or not.
It'd be pretty interesting to know the actual history of the car. I mean, any car that you start messing around with and you see something's been done here, something there, it's like, where have you been?
And
what has your life been?
It's got some interesting things to it, right? So it's a Z28. So the Z28s were all loaded out for the most part.
Right.
I mean, power windows, power locks, power mirrors. This car has none of that. No power anything.
Well, that's odd.
It's an automatic, but it still has a tack on the dashboard.
Have you done a VIN search on it?
I did,
Yeah.
and then I didn't want to spend the money to find the rest of it.
Oh,
so
I hate that.
Yeah, so it didn't really give me a lot of the info. But
Yeah, well, I
do
bet
have
you
all
could
the
look it up.
RPOs and
You
all
might
that.
be able to, see, you might be able to look it up on Chevy to see what that car was supposed to come with originally.
Yeah, so I think what happened is somebody wanted a Z20. And it's just my opinion because of the RPOs that I was able to pull from the VIN and all that I got from GM.
Yeah.
Somebody wanted a Z28.
Yep.
Couldn't afford it,
Couldn't afford the whole package.
and so they started stripping stuff off of it.
Yeah.
And then had no intention of going fast in it with an LG 465 horsepower motor in it.
Yeah.
By any means, but they wanted a Z28 and they got one, right?
They got the badge.
Yeah. So it's kind of weird though. It may have also just been like some weird demo because it wasn't, from what I did find, it wasn't an ordered vehicle. It was, I don't know, it was a dealer order, but not a customer order.
Yeah, so the dealer just place an order for X number of vehicles with this trim, that trim, and the other thing.
Right.
So they ordered a Z28 scaled down so that they could sell it to somebody that couldn't afford a full Z28.
I guess that must have been what happened.
Something like that. Something weird.
So, but it is a California car. I do know that.
It's probably
and it was
attributes to its lack of rust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know where it ended up during its lifetime by any means.
At Jason's
A
house.
Vietnam vet had it at one
Eventually
time.
at Jason's house,
Which is kind of cool. Still has the Vietnam
really?
sticker deal
That's
on the
cool.
back, like I'm not a military guy, man. Thanks to all our veterans out there that risked their lives for us and everything. But it's like the bars, that I guess you would have on their breast pocket or whatever. It's that sticker on the back.
Interesting.
It had some weird sticker on it too, like on the B pillar on the passenger side, and you can kind of, because the clear coat's still where the sticker was.
Oh.
So it's like some crazy cat deal, and Jason thinks that it might have been like, again, I might be using the wrong words here, but like the platoon that the guy was in or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And he had taken the sticker off.
Interesting.
At some point. I don't know if Jason took it off or not. No, it's not like that. But anyway. So it's definitely got some history.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one of the reasons I don't want to paint the car. Except for the freaking driver front
Red.
fender.
Paint it red.
I know.
Torch red.
It'll end up being red and black one day, just like my other one. So
I do like that red-black combination.
Yeah.
yeah, the
That's pretty
93, the Z28 specific in the 93 has the black top, but it also has the black mirrors on it.
Okay.
Most
it
of them
pop.
came with the body color mirrors and just a black top.
Oh.
And then that 93 also did not have the top cut out for the T-tops either.
Oh.
So it's a coupe car.
How about the hood? Does it have didn't they have like a...
Ram air.
No, it was actually...
It's got the two vents.
recessed. Okay, yeah, recessed vents or
Yeah,
something like
and they're
that.
non-functional, but...
Right. And
But yeah,
are they black?
It's a Z28 hood. The grills in it are,
Okay,
but
yeah.
the surround is still
Is not.
body color.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
They're non-functional until you take the hacksaw out.
You know, and it's kind of like my
Saw's
third
all
gen. It's kind of funny. They've got those big, freaking like vent plates on them that are non-functional. It's like, how cool would it be to like cut the bottom of the hood out
Yeah.
underneath it? But then when you look at them, even the vents are covered on the fake vent thing they put on top. So then you'd be cutting out little Dremel tool and all kinds. Like, yeah, whatever, man. Just
Too much effort.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's got 165 horsepower. Who cares?
Weight reduction, though.
Well,
Every
Yeah.
pound counts.
Yeah, so once I
put
get
a-
the car where I want it to be, you know, I'm gonna buy a 350 and put it on an engine stand and start building that for that car.
just like a regular iron block 350.
Yeah, carbureted, Chevy small block.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just kind of want to stay. I want to stay to that kind of era,
Yeah.
I guess. But I don't know. Time will tell.
LS7.
I mean, if I'm gonna LS one of them, it's got to be the 93. I mean, it's just a better car.
Yeah.
But I just hate to take
to do it.
anything
Yeah.
stock out of it because it's so clean and so original.
Honestly, yeah.
But-
mean, that's kind of the cool thing about it, right?
Yeah.
It's all
And that's one of the
original.
other reasons I bought the 86 that I did, because it's a shell. I
Yeah.
mean, it had a leak in the T-top. It's got, you know, felony holes in the floor, and
Yep.
you know, I'm gonna have to fix all that. But it's a platform that I don't mind. You
Messing
know,
with it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah. Do whatever.
Yeah.
Put whatever you want in it.
Derek, I know it'd be sacrilege, but I mean, your best bang for buck for power is just going to be putting a
Don't even
5.0
say it.
into it,
Don't even say
and then
that.
just having it that way. I mean, everyone puts a 5.0 into a Camaro.
If I wanted a 5.0, I'd have bought a Fox body, dude. And guess what? I didn't.
Oh, why
So-
did you buy the Camaro? Like, start getting into Camaros way back when?
You know, again, I think it was high school, right? I mean,
But in high school, you were in the era when it was also Camaro and Mustang, like the 5.0 and
Yeah.
then the Catfish Camaro.
so, you know, upbringing, I suppose. Pop was a Chevy guy.
Always around Chevys.
I mean, and he's not like Chevrolet only, right? I mean, he had a 69 Mustang convertible, beautiful car.
Ooh, audio.
Ooh, that thing's
This
making.
is gonna be worse holding it
Oh,
like this.
yeah, that's
he's
way
hot.
too loud.
Is it loud?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hold it
super
away
hot.
from-
It sounds better.
Does it? Okay. Sorry, we're changing things out.
So yeah, he had a Chevy pickup. You know, I grew up with some Corvettes and stuff that he had.
Yeah.
You know, they brought me home from the hospital when I was born in a Tornado, so
Yeah.
GM product anyway. So I've been around Chevrolets.
Yeah.
You know, growing up and had an affinity for Chevrolet, I suppose.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Just ended up being a Chevy guy.
Yeah, and then something about that first gen Camaro, man, I can't get it out of my head. It's been 40 years and I still want one. So,
Yeah.
you know, when you're in high school and they have the fourth gens, and then I had bought my ex a 92 25th anniversary edition RS Camaro, and I was really upset when she sold that
When
car.
that left, yeah.
So I don't know. Something about a Camaro to me. I love the body line. I love a Chevy small block engine. I've worked on the Fords and the way that everything overlaps everything else. I mean, like that 69 Mustang's a perfect example. Tried to take the air conditioner out of it, and we had to put the bracket back in that the air conditioner compressor sat on, because without that bracket, the other two that stacked on top of it wouldn't fit
We
right.
had no place to put them. Yeah.
It's like, give me a Chevy small block, everything's separate.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just easy to work on, change stuff. To me, the Ford motors were just so much more work.
Yeah.
You know, this is unplanned, but you're pretty much a Chevy guy, so I'm going to ask you this question. We covered this, and maybe you heard it. What can a Ford guy and a Chevy guy, what car can they agree on?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. It's hard to argue with a Corvette, if I'm being honest, even though
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the Chevy Ford rivalries, at least in my experience talking with Ford guys, it's always Camaro versus Mustang. When you start talking about Z06
Yeah.
Corvettes, or you start talking about GT40s, things like that, it's a totally different world.
Well, the interesting thing, quit jiggling around, would you?
I'm
Hold
trying
still.
I'm trying not to.
Good Lord. The interesting thing about that is, I agree with you. Camaro versus Mustang, that's an equal match.
Yeah.
Like those
Yeah.
cars are in the same vein, right? Well, they're
Right.
4-seaters typically.
Right. Kind of.
Mustang.
They have 4 seats. I don't know if you could fit 4 people in it, but
Well,
you
technically, for your insurance purposes, they are a 4-seater,
Yeah.
right? And that's what made them more affordable for us teenagers to drive
right,
them.
right.
Yeah.
But you can't put Corvette in that same conversation.
Yeah.
I
But what
agree.
in the Ford lineup, because GT40 is a whole nother step
it's-
above
yeah,
a
Corvette,
Corvette,
yeah.
right? So there's nothing comparable to, in my view,
I mean,
to a Corvette in the Ford lineup.
I agree. It's in the new
Pantera.
stuff for sure.
What's that?
Pantera.
Yeah.
Well,
That's a Ford engine.
maybe back in the day, its era,
Yeah.
maybe.
Did they handle as well even?
Oh, yeah.
I think
Pantera,
they were very
Pantera probably outhandled the Corvette back in the day.
Did they do
pretty
anything well?
close.
With the Panteras?
Well,
Okay, see, we're not gonna agree on this now.
Well, no. Wait. So that was, what was the range?
75 or 72, just 78.
72, I believe.
No, 82, right?
Yeah, they went into the
80s,
80s.
yeah.
Maybe 82, 83, somewhere in that range. I'm going to slap you with that thing.
Well,
Um,
Hey, blame Jeremy. He's the one that put it in his hand.
Yeah.
I know
know.
it does sound much better though. Okay, so in that 70 to 80 range, 72 to 82, say.
No.
I think it's actually 83. Corvette had the C3, kind of a boat, really.
boat, underpowered.
A little bit underpowered. Well, the later ones, yes.
Yeah, the
the
early ones, not
earlier
as
ones
much.
were better.
You could get a big block in the earlier ones.
Yeah.
You could, you can get a 454.
But it wouldn't make as much power as a Pantera.
I would say pretty close to equal because they were running the 351.
The Pantera had a 375 horses, I thought.
Well, so did the early Corvettes.
Yeah.
Okay, true.
So,
And it looks like a Batmobile.
I think you're
come
right
on.
though. I think maybe that is
might be the
a pretty
comparable.
comparable car for
Yeah.
that area, for that era. But once you get past that, because Ford stopped making
Because
Pantera,
Panteras you
Well,
would
let's-
also find at the Ford dealership, right? When they were
Right.
out, I believe, in the day.
could you find them? Yeah.
Yeah, no, at the Ford dealership, that's where they sold them, the
Yes.
Pantera. So,
Yeah.
like, that would probably be the best comparison.
Let's
Agreed.
back up even further and
Okay.
go to like the C1 Corvette
Mm-hmm.
and a Thunderbird.
I'd say,
C1 was a 6-cylinder,
I mean,
blue flame,
did the-
straight 6.
did the Thunderbird come with a V8 at that time? They were
It'd be the
both
Thunder-
two-seaters.
I don't know for
Thunderbolt.
and they were both
remember we talked about that? The Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt?
Yeah, remember that?
Thunderbolt.
We'd have to look it up again. I'm
It was
drawing a blank
the
on that.
drag version of the
Okay.
V8.
Yeah,
It was based on the, I
but
believe,
the Thunderbird.
yeah.
I know there was a version with a V8. Did they come out with one with a V6 in that era?
Yeah, and I don't know the
I
answer.
don't know.
But
either.
I mean, they're similar size, two-seater.
I feel like the Thunderbird was bigger.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, the C1 was a pretty small car, but
Yeah.
Yeah, it
how
was.
cool. Speaking of which, how about like Dave Kendig's CF1? Have you seen those?
What's a CF1?
So he made his own body, like fiberglass body of a C1.
Oh, you mean like the Cheetah?
Is that what you're talking
I
about?
saw a picture of a Cheetah just today.
It's Dave Kindig. It's his car.
Yeah.
He's the only one that produces them.
Okay.
And he calls it a CF1. Super nice car.
So maybe we could
If
throw that
only
up
we
on the
had
TV.
somebody that wasn't paying attention that could put that on the
I am
screen.
holding the microphone.
I'm
This
looking,
one.
I'm looking at
Over here.
1950 Seabird.
Well, if you
That
put
came-
it up there, then we could all see it.
That came with a 292 Y block.
Thought so. I thought it was a 260 came
okay.
with. I was just thinking,
292. Okay.
would the Shelby be the comparison to the Corvette back in the day?
Shelby.
AC Cobra.
The AC
Right.
Cobra.
Like, or is that like, I want to say that's
I mean,
comparable.
it is like in wheelbase, if you think about wheelbase and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Power was
and-
more in the Cobra, right?
Yeah.
Well, I had a 427.
Well, not the early ones, the 289s.
And the 260s, even earlier than
Yeah.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
So those were not overly horsepower, but once they got into the 427s,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's a lot.
So,
And
so
when did they put a 427 in a Corvette? Like
65,
yours?
67.
Yeah, later, right?
Yeah.
In a C6.
No, well, yep,
So-
It's a little different 427 than
it
that
is
car.
a little bit.
Is it so? It's fair to say that Ford and Chevy had a comparable Corvette killer
Seems like it.
up until like the 80s. Then they lost it.
Yeah. I mean, because the Cobra went away, the Pantera went away,
Yeah.
the Thunderbird was.
I mean,
There was things that used Ford
Not-
engines,
not
but
the
not like
same.
sold at the Ford dealership. So
like what?
like a Koenigsegg, the early ones used Ford motors.
Did they? I
Corvette
didn't
got
know
a
that.
427 and 65.
You know what will surprise you
Oh, there you
about
go.
a Pantera?
That has a wing.
No, they were made from 71 to 92.
Or was
I can
it
believe that.
92?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they had different versions of the Pantera, right?
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they went that long.
I didn't either. Until I
There's-
looked it up. Their heyday was 71 to 75.
I think that it was 2 gens, and the second gen was by a separate owner, right?
No?
I don't
Same-
think so.
same bodies.
No, because it would be the Mark IV in the 90s, obviously,
Mhm.
because that was the latest. But I mean, you see those things if you look. I do. I look for those things.
Yeah.
Actually, they pop up on Marketplace now and then, or whatever other platform you're searching. Bring a trailer.
Yeah.
DuPont. I don't look at DuPont. It's too expensive.
Well, that's too
anyway.
expensive.
Really?
Cheap
Yeah.
cars for sale.
That's where I
Yeah,
always.
yeah, cheap cars.
That's
Project cars for sale, cheap.
I remember buying
DuPont
that.
Registry. That's like the book I grew up with as a kid. Still to this
Oh,
day.
DuPont.
Oh.
Yeah, like my dad would buy one
That's
every
all
month,
high. Yeah,
and we'd
yeah.
look and be like, "What Ferraris?" Be like, that Ferrari, and find.
Yeah.
I remember being a kid in the grocery store and finding the DuPont registry in the magazine
Yeah.
aisle and just sit there until
Just-
my mother was like, "We have to go.
Yeah.
I'm done shopping now."
I think that DuPont had.
Yeah. Will you buy this for me? It's $13.
Exactly.
yeah,
I-
the magazine.
Yeah.
As expensive as their cars.
Yeah.
I will say DuPont, one of the things they did really well was at the end of the year, or middle of the year, I should say, they had magazines that were based on car reviews of all cars of the era. And they gave a really detailed version of what they thought and what it did, et cetera, pros and cons.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's kind of cool.
I remember going through the classifieds when I was in high school trying to figure out what I wanted, man.
I remember
Yeah.
that
Big
too.
I
dreams.
miss
Like
that.
the old Cutlass, man. Just different cars like that. The 80s Monte Carlos.
Oh, wow.
That real squared off
Yeah.
kind of body style they had.
Yeah.
You know, and you got to keep in mind, too, I mean, they were 20 years old when I was in high school. So, I wasn't looking at new cars.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I was like, everything I'm going to look at. I ended up with an 88 VW Scirocco.
Oh,
That's sick.
It was a fun car. It was kind of funny. Pop knew a guy that had an 88 Scirocco that rear-ended somebody. So the front end was crunched. And then he knew another guy that had an 88 Scirocco that had an electrical fire, so it didn't run. And he brought them both home on the trailer one day and said, "Son, there's your new car. We got to cut the front off of both of them and put them together."
There you go.
So I was 15.
Yeah.
And I had to make a car.
Yeah. That's a
And
good project.
Yeah.
$500 Mako paint job, or
Yeah.
it might have even been $300
At that time.
And
Yeah.
they oversprayed over the squirters for the windshield, and everything.
awesome.
And
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
in there with a toothpick trying to pop the hole out. Of course it's a VW, so
Yeah.
the defroster doesn't work. So you always had to have a towel in the passenger seat. And
Wipe the windows down.
I learned how to drive a stick in that car.
Yeah.
And I just remember we were going down the road, and Pop was yelling at me, and I was yelling at him, and we pulled over. He's like, "Pull over!" And I was like, "Okay." So I pulled over, and he gets out of the car, and he goes, "Figure it out yourself," and slammed the door and walked back home.
Nice.
I was like, "Okay,
All right.
Yeah.
how's this gonna work?" And by the time I actually turned 16, I had a buddy of mine that was living with me a lot of the time. No way he was going to get a car. So Pop gave him that car, and I ended up with an 88 S10 pickup.
Oh.
Nice.
Also a 5-speed. The worst motor Chevrolet ever built, in my opinion. That 2.8 liter V6.
Yeah.
Is the gutless wonder. He'd be third gear at 3,500 RPM trying to go uphill on a highway, and you're
slowing
doing
down.
45.
Yeah.
I almost want to pull over on the shoulder.
Scirocco would have been a better car.
I think the Scirocco probably would have done 55 up that hill. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So, it's just that's everything that I could afford and could dream of when I was in high school, or was the 80s squared off bodies, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't want a Grand Am, or some goofiness. So,
Right.
yeah, it's a fun time. What are we looking at?
Grant needs a microphone holder.
Oh, I see what
He's
you're talking
annoying
about.
as shit.
We're gonna go to break real quick.
Okay.
Meep, meep. Okay, we're back. That was fun. Hopefully Grant can refrain from.
Do I sound better? Do I sound like I'm in the bathroom? Because I just came back from the bathroom.
You don't sound
Thanks for
like you're
that.
currently in the bathroom.
Perfect. So
Hey.
even better.
As one of your 3 listeners that you have,
Well, we don't have any of those anymore after this episode.
Right.
you definitely don't have any PT Cruiser fans. on here.
Man, I saw the sweetest PT Cruiser today. It was purple. So cool.
Did it have the visor and every add-on possible?
No,
it had the
I don't think it
flames, I
had the
bet you.
visor.
Are we already to the
There-
coolest car we think?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
Nope. I did see it though, and it made me think of that, and I was just like, "Yep, they're all friggin' purple."
It was really funny.
true.
So when that
Or
car,
Barney's
before
car.
it came out, right? It was in, I don't remember if it was Motor Trend or Road and Track, whatever the hell I was reading. And the pictures on it, I was like, oh man, it's almost one of the first retro, but it's just like every other freaking retro car they ever came out with.
Agree to
It
disagree.
looks absolutely nothing like anything actually retro, and it's just
Right.
ugly as sin.
Yeah.
When you actually
It's
see
really
it in person.
terrible. Plus they made it a mini thing. It's not.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a retro panel van or whatever.
Right.
But it's too small to be a panel van.
Yeah.
It's
They should have
just
made it a
dumb and
delivery
ugly.
van size, something that was usable.
Yeah.
Because the old
I don't
school
know.
Chevy delivery sedans,
Mm-hmm.
those were freaking cool.
Oh, yeah.
man.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
a paneled out Nomad.
But no, they ruined it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no. And then the HHR was no
I also
better.
saw one of those
Did you? Oh.
today or yesterday.
You don't see as many of those. I guess.
You sure we're not on the coolest thing we've seen this week?
We're not on it.
uh,
It was not the coolest thing I saw this week.
no.
No, actually, where I want to pivot to is driver experience.
Okay.
So I know Grant's very passionate about this. He's very
I have no driver experience.
the driver experience.
The driver experience?
The driver
Oh,
experience. So
you're talking about cranking up the radio and just
No.
ignoring everything.
Oh, Lord
Okay,
have
just turn
mercy.
his
Yeah,
mic
yeah.
off. We'll just
We'll do that.
completely.
No.
Stop. Good lord. So no, your cockpit engagement, right?
Sure.
The ergonomics of your area when
Yeah.
you sit in a car, is everything in the right spot? What are you looking for? Do you? I know Grant does. He reaches around and touches all the buttons
Yeah,
to make
yeah, he
sure they're
does.
in the right spot. And
Turn the
and
lights,
along,
windshield wipers, and
along with that, your steering wheel,
Yeah.
is it the right size?
Yeah.
Are you the type of person that goes, I hate this fucking steering wheel and I'm going to change it out? Because I am.
I think in an older car,
Yeah.
100%. I mean, we've talked about the first gen Camaro long enough, but I mean,
Right.
the steering wheel is literally about the thickness of my pinky finger.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's I don't know, about 2 basketballs put next to each other for the
Giant.
size.
Yeah,
right?
it's
A
like
big wheel.
30 inches
So
around.
it's I'm basically holding the switch I used to get whipped with when I was a kid, but it's a big circle.
Right.
Right? Changing those out are super easy.
Yeah.
I mean, I had my 88 S10 pickup. I mean, it was one of the first things I did. The steering wheel was all jacked up anyway. I pulled it out, slapped a GT Grant, little 15-inch or whatever steering wheel in there that I had.
Right.
I might have been a 13-inch. I think there's something to be said about that. But then when you're looking at like, my Corvette, your Corvette, even my 93, they have airbags on those damn things.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you want them to stay road legal, you have to buy a steering wheel that has an airbag in it. Because if you remove any safety device, it's no longer road legal. And my God, they don't look any better.
No, they're terrible. I mean,
it's like a big pillow.
To be
on
fair,
there.
I don't mind the stock C6 steering wheel for road driving.
Yeah,
I did change mine. I don't have the stock steering wheel in there anymore. But I went for a smaller diameter for quicker turning.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot better.
Yeah.
It's a better feel. It's a flat bottom steering wheel and all of that.
I have an NRG quick disconnect steering wheel in mine. I mean,
same.
So yeah, it's technically not road legal anymore, but it's kind of funky to drive down the road in a bright red Corvette slammed to the ground that's loud as sin with numbers pasted down the side of it.
Yep.
It's like just screaming at cops, pull me over.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I
and
mean,
now mine's got a big wing on it and all that stuff too. It's
I got the plexiglass,
the
stand
spoiler.
up spoiler wing on mine. And it's like, I mean, have I done it? Yes, I've done it.
Right.
It's been a couple of years, but it's like we throw a new clutch in it and then just take it straight to the track. So the first clutch time it's ever had is getting into the trailer and then rev up the motor and dump the son of a bitch so you can just go take a run,
Go
right?
for it, yeah.
Right.
So my clutch chatters and makes all kinds of noise. So we put a new clutch in it. I was like, let's go throw some road miles on it like I'm supposed to, right?
Yep.
And I will never buy one of those clutches again. That just grenaded itself in less than a season.
Wow.
I won't say that brand name on air, I guess.
Does it start with an M?
Yes.
Oh,
I'm actually surprised.
fantastic.
This is the worst clutch I've experienced ever. But yeah, no, I think the steering wheel is a big deal. But, I had a 2000 S10 pickup. I was a mini truck guy there for a while, and it had a bench seat in it. And you want to talk about ergonomics. I pulled the bench seat out, and I put bucket seats from a late 80s Grand Am, Pontiac Grand Am.
That's
and
cool.
Now the steering wheel's not center with me anymore.
Okay.
And I dealt with that for man. I think I had that truck for 10 years.
Really?
Sitting off to the side.
So ergonomics is a big deal.
It really is. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't notice it until you don't have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Bench seat. You could plant yourself behind the steering wheel. It
Yeah.
didn't matter.
I mean, those seats were held in with one buys and zip ties. If I'm being completely honest.
Yeah.
So it's funny. The bench seat in those has two frames in it, one on each side, but there's only bolt holes on the outside.
Oh.
And then the inside's got bolt holes through the floor, but to bolt a seat to it, there's only bolt holes on the outside.
Interesting.
And instead of, I don't know, pulling out a drill and making a hole so I could bolt my seat in, I just stuck a 1-by in there so it was level and zip tied the seat to the frame.
Oh, wow.
Because, I'm that guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
You make a really hard right turn every now and again.
Leans.
They would, I'd break my zip ties and then you're flopping all over and I'd have to go home and put some bigger zip ties back in.
Wow.
So when you bust out the duct tape temporarily.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good thing you never got in an accident in that thing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I did total both vehicles I had before that one. So, yeah, it's a really good thing. But, it was fun. It was a fun truck. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'm more of a fan of like the round steering wheels.
Okay.
Right. So you start looking at.
Not the yokes like on the Teslas?
Man, I'm just not into that. Like,
yeah, I don't know how that would be to.
I'm like a one. Put my elbow on the door board or the.
Well, yeah, that's part of the ergonomics. I get into certain vehicles and it doesn't fit. Like I can't rest my elbow on the window and steer.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
Like,
it doesn't reach.
And I drive rental cars.
The height of it is wrong, or
you can't do that with a third gen Viper.
Really?
Because the window sits so high with that. Yeah, you can't really. I mean, you can, but it's really uncomfortable.
Welcome to Camaro life, bro. I mean, you're sitting under the door anyway. You got your elbow way the hell up here anyway.
Yeah. Well, in my Gen 2 Camaro, the armrest on the door was at the right height though, that you could still rest your elbow on it, you know.
It's like when I drive
And
a lot
then
of
you've got
rental cars.
you got that center console, you know, on the other side, so like you're comfortable.
Actually, I think-
But you know what really pisses me off? It's when the spokes in the steering wheel, when they're in the wrong freaking place.
Yep.
Dude,
And you can't rest your hand comfortably
I hate it.
on the wheel.
I hate it. And I drive so many rental cars doing what I do for a
Yeah.
living.
Yep.
So I'm always in something different. And I can
Except for
tell
that
you.
Audi.
Yeah, well, I drive that rental. I've had that rental car a long time. But I mean, the second you walk out to the car, they'll even tell you now. I always ask them because I'm that guy. I'm like, you got me something fun today?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, I'm a Hertz President's
What do I
Club
have?
member, right?
Yeah,
Free
yeah.
upgrade, whatever. You'll never get it if you don't ask for it. I do the same thing when I show up at the hotel. You got me in a fun room today? It's like, oh, let me look. And then they start looking at other stuff. Whereas if you just walk up there, they'd be like, here's your shit.
Yeah. Here's your room right
Yeah,
next to
please
the elevator.
Yep.
The elevator, the ice machine on the first floor
Yeah.
next to the bar.
Right.
Right. So they're, you know, so they'll hand me like, oh, I got you in this. And I'm like, oh, God, I had one of those a few weeks ago.
It was terrible.
I hate that fucking car.
No, try again.
Yeah, I've told them that before. If we make it to that topic of your hard no car, that was a rental car story
We're
that
making-
we'll get into
we'll make
there at
that.
some point.
Yep.
But, you know, when you start looking at like even the flat bottom steering wheels,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
even those kind of get to me sometimes.
Don't,
and
Can
don't
I-
you have one of those in your Corvette?
no.
Oh.
Can I touch on
I
that
do.
real fast? The flat bottom steering wheels.
Yes.
So like with Liger, she's got a round steering wheel,
Yeah.
and that's one thing I've been wanting to do is upgrade into a newer steering wheel for more functions on it, again for ergonomics, right?
Okay.
And the way to do that is you upgrade to a newer gen Coyote kind
Right.
of wheel onto it.
Yep.
All of them are flat bottoms.
Okay.
And I like it when they're round, especially when racing, because you could put your hand and exactly rotate it, throw it around. When it's kind of a flat on top, it's just it's big enough where your hands are just kind of not there where they should be. If that makes sense.
Did he
You're-
just say it doesn't feel right unless it's got a big round bottom?
Yeah.
Okay.
ACDC
big
up
butts.
there,
Yes.
man. Fat
But-
bottom girls, let's get it done.
But yeah, it's there's limited functionality or limited
Feel.
yeah, exactly, and options.
Yeah.
But yeah, those round. It's weird that not like a lot of newer cars are going to the round flat bottom, and then
I think what they're telling you is that here's your car. Now you need a quick ratio steering box so you don't have to grab the bottom of the steering wheel.
yeah,
Yeah, maybe.
So
I mean-
please buy something. Upgrade your car. Because we already charged you 60 grand for it.
Yeah.
So you need to spend more money.
eventually they'll have you plug your PlayStation controller into it. Turn that way.
Don't they?
I didn't think we were talking about electric today.
We're not.
Oh, God.
That's Rob's favorite topic, but we're holding off
Till the very end.
to the very end.
We'll get there, I'm sure.
No, we won't. Not today. Not today, Satan. So you're not a fan of the flat bottom steering wheel.
No.
That's fine. I mean, everybody's got their preference, right? But
Yeah.
it doesn't bother me. I can go either direction on that.
It's-
My race car does have one.
How often
It's-
are you grabbing the bottom of the steering wheel in
Yeah.
your car?
Surprisingly often
Yeah.
in turnarounds.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're turning tight enough that
Yeah.
my steering wheel does flip all the way over,
Mine does too.
and I feel it. I know
Yeah.
where I'm at
Yeah.
because of that.
That's true too. I
You
mean,
know?
it kind of gives you a general
It does.
spatial awareness
It-
idea without
it-
having to look at
It
it.
absolutely
Yeah.
does.
I mean, because like Josh's car, that 350R,
Yep.
right, has the red ring at the top. Like
right.
all the racers put
Mine has
the
that.
red tape there back
Yep.
in the day. But I mean, I got to be honest with you. I'm never looking at
Not
the steering
looking at
wheel.
that. No.
Right.
No, I much prefer the feel. I know
Yeah.
where it's at. I don't have
Yeah.
to look. Not that I'd look anyway. I know where I'm going. But
Right.
yeah, when it flips all the way over, I know where I'm at.
I
You
guess I
guys-
feel that with the spokes of it.
Sure.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Right. I guess that's where I'm kind of getting it from. It's like, oh shit, I just grabbed the bottom spoke. So it's probably the same idea.
Yeah, very similar. You know where you're going.
How do you guys feel about the steering wheels with the light up lights on top for shifting?
I think in an F1 car, that's pretty cool.
But like in a standard car, like that Ferrari went to that a long time ago.
Yeah, I guess
I-
I've never driven one with that. So
It's so distracting. Yeah.
In a Ferrari, though, you're gonna be putting it on the track. At least I would hope you're putting it on the track, and at least it's giving you. It's kind of like
Shift indicator.
It's like a heads-up
Makes sense.
display type deal, right? Where you see the lights lighting up. But if you put one of those in a freaking Impala and made me go drive that rental car, it would drive me insane.
Does your Impala have paddle shifters too?
I'm sure they do. I don't know. I haven't
probably.
driven one.
But you know what
time.
I mean. I mean, cars with paddle shifters, Ferrari or whatever.
Lambo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do the new C8s have that or have the option?
The lights?
Yeah.
Or the paddle shifters?
On the steering wheel lights.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk to
They have a heads-up display, though.
Yeah, it's for me like it's really annoying because you'll be.
Funny thing about the heads-up display, I have it.
Never look at it.
Never see it.
Yeah, I know, right?
Do not see it. Now on the road, yes, I see it when I'm driving it on the street.
Yeah.
Racing, no.
As long as you're not wearing polarized sunglasses, you can see it anyway.
Well, I hadn't even
thought of that.
It drives me insane.
But
my mother just
don't
bought
see it
a
at all.
brand new set of sunglasses because she couldn't see the heads-up display in her new rig with the polarized sunglasses.
Yeah, interesting.
It's kind of like looking at your cell phone with those polarized glasses. You have to like,
oh yeah,
it's either this way or this way, and every phone is different, right? Which way it'll work.
Oh, I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
So I don't know.
Polarizing.
Yeah.
Polarizing.
I will say this: so you're getting on the C8 deal. That is like a freaking jet fighter cockpit.
Oh, 100%.
In that driver's seat.
I think that's one
very driver centric, right? Everything's pointed at you.
Yeah.
I've never been in the passenger seat of one, but I have sat in the driver's seat, and I almost feel like if I were in the passenger seat and be like, what?
You're separated.
What am I doing over here, right?
Yeah.
You've got this huge console
Yeah, you're blocked
with
off.
everything pointed over, and it's basically
You can't
just
even change the radio station
No.
as a passenger.
right?
Yeah.
Which screw you, man. Get your own car if you want to change the radio. But yeah, right. So you feel very disconnected as a passenger. So of course, driver ergonomics is super important when you're, especially when you're tracking a car or something like that, right? You're really doing some spirited driving, and you need everything right there.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's got to be something to say about the person in the car with you if you're on a Sunday drive.
That's what bugs me about every modern Ferrari is because they focus on the driver and they the passenger side's an afterthought.
Yeah.
And it's, I will say, I think the C8's one of the best looking interiors and functional interiors if for a single person.
Yeah.
But if you're ever taking a passenger, useless.
Yeah, I mean, you're just an afterthought, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't really like the interior, even though it is focused. For a track car, that would be pretty cool because, everything is right there. It's ergonomically, it's close to the driver. You can change all the settings, although a lot of those settings are just comfort control BS anyway.
I don't need the radio when I'm racing anyway.
Right.
Row of switches, though.
Yeah, and they're useless. It gets to be almost too much junk, right?
Yeah.
But I get it. Okay, it's all focused around the driver, and if you're going to track your C8, cool. But for taking a cruise to the beach with your lady, not so cool.
Nope.
I mean, it's a very disconnected feeling.
Bring back the bench seat, man.
No,
It's still here. It's in all the Fords and all the pickups.
Is it though?
Get your Mustang with a bench seat.
Yeah, you fold
It is
it down.
not in all of them.
Okay, it's
I
an
have
option in
captain's
them.
chairs in the front of the
Well,
truck.
you do. I've got the bench seat. But yeah, the center one folds up to a third seat.
I got captain's chairs too.
Yeah, I've got the bench seat.
Yeah.
But
Cheapskate.
Right?
yeah.
Bought a Lariat with a bench seat.
I can get a Lariat.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
It's XLT.
So I'm going to give you a
That
different.
explains
Still.
it. That explains it.
I'm going to give you a different take on this.
Okay.
I don't like fucking with shit while I'm driving.
I don't either.
Neither do I.
When I turn the heater on, depends on what it's like outside before I leave.
Mm-hmm.
I try to, adjust it to where it needs to be. I may reach over and turn the fan down. I try to leave the stereo alone. If there's a passenger, I'm like, put it on whatever you want. I don't care.
Yep.
The only thing I'm really going to play with is the cruise control.
Yeah.
And the wipers.
Well, and I think that's why the ergonomics to the driver are so important.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not distracted, that it's easy to get to. You know where everything's at. Like, honestly, in my truck, and we all have the same truck.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
No, you don't. But the heat controls and stuff, the manual ones that not on the touch screen, are a little bit hard to get to.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I like that the most on my truck and easy to get to.
Yeah, but your truck's different, right? So
Oh, that's true because because we all have the same F250, F350, but mine is
XLT.
1 year. Well, not only that, but
And
like
newer.
the 2020 yours is 19, right?
18, yeah.
18 yours is 18.
yeah.
2021's when they changed interior just a hair. They made it a little bit different.
they have
It's
a bigger screen and
bigger screen,
and different
but
controls for the heaters.
the controls are staggered because they usually go down like this. Mine's brought up and
No, ours are down at the bottom.
yeah, they're down at the bottom. I'm saying it goes 2 on the outside, 2 in the middle, or 2 in the one. Mine's all brought up even higher.
See, that would be nice if they were a little higher.
Yeah.
And I think maybe they expect you to just use it on the touch screen because all those same controls you
Are up
can
there.
access through the
yeah.
you can
Oh, that
access them through the
irritates
touch screen.
the shit out of me.
If
No,
you've
I
got
don't like changing the menus on the touch screen to get to my heater controls.
Yeah, no.
I want manual.
And I've driven a couple of rental cars that's the only way
Dodge,
to
right?
change any of the climate stuff.
Was it
There
three?
are no toggles or wheels
Buttons or
or
dials or
anything.
nothing.
No,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
all in that damn touchscreen. It's like
If
you know.
if you want to turn the heater on in our trucks for the steering wheel, it's only on the stereo.
And that's annoying. Touchscreen, I mean. It's only through touchscreen, not stereo.
No, it's the touch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's the
touchscreen.
infotainment.
There you go,
system.
thank you.
Yeah.
How about that?
You know the one thing that I will say that most annoys me ergonomically is steering wheel buttons and wins too many. I think the worst offender
Yeah.
is Ford with the Mustang.
Oh yeah.
You've got, Jeremy, can you pull up a picture of just a 2024 Mustang wheel? I swear there's like 24, 28 buttons on
They're
there.
just getting carried away
It
with
makes it look like a Mercedes is a joke,
it. Yeah.
because you've got your adaptive cruise control, your normal cruise control, your windshield wipers.
Windshield wipers are a button, not on the stock.
I'm trying to think. I know Ferrari has it on there for a button.
Interesting.
Yeah. Pull up right there.
Even
Jimmy.
my Audi
That.
rental car that I'm in right now, it's got 3 sticks on it,
Oh really?
and then it's got paddles, and then it's got probably a dozen buttons and wheels on the
each
front
one.
of it.
Oh yeah.
It's just like
Too much.
it's too much.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, how much does a guy really need? I mean, I understand we're trying to keep your hands on the wheel,
Right.
You
but
talking about that steering wheel?
No, yeah, because that one actually looks way different.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I'm looking at about 2018. Let me see.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
my truck
Remember
has
that
those buttons.
Right. I mean,
Here we go. Look at
I
this
like-
one. This is a 20.
well,
I like my
18.
cruise control on the steering wheel. I like my audio controls on the steering wheel.
volume up, volume down,
Oh, yeah,
skip.
Because
Yeah.
That's important,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
You get into a lot of these cars. Like if you look at that one, there doesn't look there's any volume control on there. Some of them there's buttons behind the steering wheel.
Yep.
Oh, I've
Yep.
So then you
On
got
the
your,
Chevys, they do
your
that.
like skip track, reverse track, and then up and down
Down.
volume on the
Yeah.
back side.
And if you're new to the car, you're like, "Where
Is
the,
it?
What am
and
I-"
then
and then you
one
accidentally bump
manufacturer-
into them, and you're like, "What happened?"
and then there's a paddles right behind
Yeah,
that.
or you screw up and shift the car.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
exactly.
Or you're trying to turn it up and oh shit, that was the last brand. This brand, that's the skip button because they're on. And it's not like you can just
'Cause they're
look down
different.
and see it,
Right.
right?
Yeah, that's funny.
I mean,
So check this out. 2018 Mustang steering wheel. You've got 2 D-pads on it for up, down, left, right, and okay. Different because that's 2024. This is before they integrate everything into the screen on dash when it still had like actual analog.
So it's got the extra set of buttons
Below it. And once you get
that
below
red- that red steering wheel.
Yeah, click that one, Jeremy.
that one.
Yeah. Because it'll have on the bottom, it'll have your speed control on the left, which sets up and down your distance closer or further away.
Lord, look.
Then you've got on the right side, you've got your phone functionality of hang up, answer,
And then lights all over
speech,
it.
talking, and then sourcing through audio, which one you want to go through. And then the Mustang one is activating your custom settings for your car. So you click that and it adjusts your settings. And then you got your other normal D-pad, which goes through, music set and
Right.
everything else. And then the back button.
Is that a Wish.com steering wheel?
I know, right? It's got the lights too.
Well, it's for the listener. It's a 2015 to 20. It's an aftermarket steering wheel for the Mustang GT carbon fiber Red Smart.
But it still has the
And
factory
it
OEM
does
buttons.
have the LED buttons on the top and some kind of little LED readout display
Yeah,
screen
like
at
a
the top of the
display.
steering wheel.
Interesting.
Right on the steering. I don't know what that is telling you.
I don't know why
weird.
you'd be looking.
Jeremy,
there.
Hey,
Oh,
but you
it's-
can buy it
it's
on
your
eBay
speed.
apparently.
It's a speed and
Huh,
RPM
interesting.
right on your steering wheel
Jeremy-
because you can't look past that
Yeah.
to your dash.
I know, right? Jeremy, can you bring up
or your heads-up display.
just type in Ferrari steering wheel or 488 steering wheel.
I need to know how fast I'm going in at least 3 different places.
Ferrari was the one who started making it so that way they would focus the driver so all their hands are on the steering wheel.
Well, then put less buttons on it.
And then, they put more on there. I mean, look at this. Let's see. This is a 488 right here.
I think it's just so much distraction anyway.
So, what's not too bad. They make one that's worse.
We're going to mount our phone to the dash so we can pay attention to that.
Exactly.
Too.
So look at that 488 up there.
I would rather you have your phone attached to the dash than in your freaking hand.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times, as many miles as I put down every week, how many idiots are on the road with their freaking phone.
Well, and looking down. You know, they've got it in their hand and they're looking down. So they're not looking at the road.
They're not even with either.
Yeah, right. Not even with their peripheral are they looking at the road.
Like if you're holding it up here and you're kind of glancing at it, trying to find something, I mean...
At least
I'm not going to say that that's safe or great.
At least you've got your eyes halfway on the road.
But yeah, it almost looks like they have a book in their lap.
Well, that's
and they're looking down.
Everybody's looking down,
reading a book.
So thinking autopilot will save
answer their text, or maybe they're doing something like trying to find something on a map. Okay, but they're doing that so they don't get busted by the cops because they'll pull you over for having the phone up in your face.
Yeah. Well, here in Oregon, it's a criminal penalty, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I think it's still a misdemeanor, but it's a decent.
Well, a misdemeanor is a criminal penalty, though.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, they had a sign on the road that said criminal penalties for whatever with your phone.
But I don't get is when
at least in the state of Washington, I believe it's a non-moving violation.
What I don't get
is not a moving violation, really.
Yeah, even though you're moving.
Yeah,
so is being in the carpool lane when you're not carpooling. It's a non-moving violation.
Really?
Yeah. Oh. I guess because I pulled over before you got to me. I don't totally understand, but it doesn't go on your record. So
okay, well, that's an open invite to drive in the carpool lane.
Please don't. I'm not condoning illegal activity here today.
All right.
Drive fast on the track. Be safe on the road. Put your damn phone away.
Put your damn phone away.
If you want to listen to a song, set it up before you get on the road.
So, Grant, what were you saying about?
Oh, what we got right now up is a Ferrari steering wheel. I'm not sure which one. I think it's a it's a Portofino. So about these steering wheels, like Ferrari started introducing, and if you look, there's no turn signal stock. The buttons on the top shoulders are the actual turn signals, which makes it interesting because if you're rotating your wheel, you have to know where your turn signal is. So if you're turning in a right and you know that the steering wheel's turned 180, now you have to push the button on the left to activate it.
Yeah, you got to activate it before you start turning.
Exactly.
I don't think blinkers come standard on Mercedes.
And then exactly.
Or Ferrari.
But if you look at it, it's also got
they never use them.
It looks like one of those Bop It games. You've got a switch, a literal switch that switches between which traction control you've got. You've got a lever on it that adjusts for your windshield wiper and windshield wiper speed on it. That's activated by your thumb, pushing it forward or in. It's got below on the right side your cruise control onto it. In the center, if you see, it's got a speech for like talking to Siri or whatnot, and a phone option. You got your start, you got your suspension changing, and then you've got your high and bright beams and daytime running lights. That is a lot going on the steering wheel, including the lights at the very top and your shifting.
I gotta be honest.
Yeah, really
if I'm driving a Ferrari, I don't need phone controls. If you call me,
exactly.
I'm not answering the phone, man.
It's going in the trunk.
Yeah, I'm hauling ass. I'm in a Ferrari. I'm having a good time. I ain't talking on the phone.
It'd be nice to have for the Bluetooth option for listening to music.
Yeah, but
that's just for you.
That's
everybody else has the radio off because they want to hear that engine.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Windows down, radio off.
Yeah.
There's not a better musical note to me than that.
You know,
that RPM.
All the times I've driven the McLaren, I've never turned the radio on.
Really?
Ever.
Could you figure it out?
I don't even know that it has one. I've never looked.
That's what I was going to ask you. Does it even have one?
I don't know.
But you don't know.
I don't know.
The controls are behind the steering wheel.
Yeah,
I'm almost positive.
It's kind of like my air conditioning
I don't know.
controls.
I don't even care.
Car.
I'll never turn it on.
They're there, but there's no compressor, so
yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm debating whether to remove the AC
on
my car.
You know,
because I never turn it on.
We removed ours. We even tried to recharge it at one time. It never worked, right?
Really?
Tried to recharge it, didn't work still. And then when we put the donor engine in, it was
totally
like, why do we even have this?
Yeah.
That's just another 40 pounds or
That's what
whatever the hell that big ass compressor weighs.
It's like, let's get rid of it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, in a car like that, I mean, my 93's got an air conditioner in it too. I don't think I've ever turned it on. I don't know if it works or not. I just roll down the windows and fucking cruise, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Side tangent, I guess. Go ahead.
Side tangent again, because we were talking about this earlier with steering wheels and the size of them and whatnot.
Right.
And looking at that Ferrari one made me realize one thing we don't see anymore is the airbag size going down smaller. That one actually looks way smaller than normal, but I want to say, like, because how you guys are saying, it's like, oh, you've got that big thing in the middle.
Yeah.
Why did they not shrink? Is this? I don't think there's a standard for how big an airbag size has to be. Like probably deployment size.
It's got to protect your dome from the dashboard.
True.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. Maybe there is a standard automotive that we're just not aware of.
Yeah, but if you look at that one, that wheel on that Ferrari, that is way smaller than any other airbag that we've seen.
It might be one of those things too where they went, see, airbag, legal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't wreck.
Don't crash.
Don't die.
You have bigger problems if you've crashed your Ferrari.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
It means you have to go out and buy another one.
Yeah, potentially there is something.
Or you want to
that.
die with it.
Hey, don't fall asleep at 35 and put your foot on the floor.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you're modifying your car, specifically you, Derek, and Grant, because you've done a fair amount of modifications to Liger.
Yay.
When you modify it, I mean, you've got to pay attention to not just you, but your dad, because you both drive it. But those modifications are tailored to you specifically. Give a shit about anybody else driving it or no?
Yes.
No, I really don't. Pop and I are a similar size.
Right.
I'm a little more round, maybe, and he's a little bit taller. But we weigh within 20 pounds of each other.
Yeah.
So really, I'm just concerned about us.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest.
Fitment-wise, as long as you can both fit and you're comfortable and can do what you got to do.
I mean, I'd like to have the seat a little bit closer, just because he's a little bit taller. Well, we put Z06 seats in it because it had the pass-throughs for the harness.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. What year is Z06?
I don't remember.
Seats, because C6 doesn't have that.
No, they were C5s.
Interesting.
Yeah, so
I didn't know they even had them for.
Yeah, so it's a stock. It's got a pass-through in it, and the original one didn't. And when we had the harness on, it was going around the seat.
Yeah.
You know, it still didn't really. You were still flip-flopping all over the place in there. So we did change that, but then and plug the motor in, right? Same plugs, everything, but
burned it right up.
Well, no, but forward is like up and down is
funny.
Right. I mean, I don't even know how I mean, it's like I can never remember. So it's like, it's as far as I'm concerned, just unplug it.
Yeah.
You can
because the
repin it.
last thing you want to do is touch that damn thing and be like, oh shit, I moved it, and how do I move it back?
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
that's really funny.
Yeah. So, but no, we tailor the car to us, and you know, Pop. I love that guy to death. I mean, he pretty much just wants to tailor it to me as best he can. He wants to go out and he wants to have a great time and he wants to have fun.
Yeah.
But he wants me to win. Everything that we do to the car, he's like, you know, you drive faster, you've got a faster, you know, reflex, all those different things. You know, Pop's in his 60s now.
Yeah.
And he's like, I just want you to go out there and show these guys what our car can do.
Hey, you did it, man.
I mean, this time I did it, right? Now we'll see if we can repeat it. And, you know, I'm not holding my breath or anything there, but I really don't care about anybody else. Right. If I'm modifying the car, it's for me.
Yeah.
That 86 will be the same way. I mean, who cares? Nobody else is ever going to drive the damn thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's kind of like I bought a car one time. Actually, it was a 93, and it had seat covers on it. And Pop asked me one day, he goes, why do you still have those damn seat covers on there? I go, I don't know. It's got stock seats, and they look really nice. And he goes, so are you saving it for the next guy? I was like, no, you're right. I'm tired of looking at these ugly-ass seat covers.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it should be about you personally. I mean, if somebody else wants to drive your car or you want to share your car, I mean, great. I think that's awesome. We have a lot of people. I mean, my car's broken. People let me drive their car when my car's broke. We've had people drive our car when their car broke. But, you know, I don't care if you like the way it is.
Yeah, it's not for you.
No, it's not. And you're welcome for letting you drive the car.
Right.
Right. So, Yeah, no, I think everything's for me personally.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, mine's the opposite.
Yeah.
You want everybody to drive your car.
To each your own.
Yeah, it also depends on the build. And most of my builds, I build them to either restoration projects or build them to what the factory could have built. And I like it that, if the car should be ergonomic where it not only fits me, but the next person should be like, it feels natural to them. Yeah. If there's something that doesn't feel off to them, it means I haven't done a good enough job where it's not noticeable. If you're trying to reach for the steering, like for example, the stereo controls or the HVAC controls, then that means that I set up the seat way too enough where it couldn't adjust for a person to really get to that. Or if there's enough functionality with the steering wheel range where you don't need to have enough fancy buttons because you've already engaged that, it's not needed anymore.
This is your race car?
Yeah.
So he builds to stock spec, and to be fair,
I shouldn't say stock spec. Factory spec.
What factory would have put or could have put?
Could have put.
Yeah.
And to be fair, if you think about manufacturers, the amount of adjustment they have to put into a vehicle to accommodate somebody 5 foot tall up to 6'8".
Yeah.
Right. That's a big range.
Exactly.
Well, I had a buddy of mine I grew up with. His parents used to race a lot, and he had a Fox body Mustang. And he put blocks on the clutch pedal.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
So he could...
Because he was a shorter guy. And he's like, it's my race car. I can't move it. And maybe it wasn't his Fox body. It might have been the RX-7. Because his wife also... It must have been the RX-7 because his wife drove it too. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But he had a block on it so that he could get that clutch suppressed all the way because they couldn't set the car up for both of them to be able to do everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess if there was something like that, like if Pop and I weren't a similar size,
you'd have to make some accommodations.
You'd have to make accommodations somehow.
Right.
I mean, we already argue about the harness being too loose, and it's like, dude, I got a freaking pony keg sitting here, man. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm not going to stop drinking beer.
No, sorry. I'm not. Cheers. Yeah. Right. I need a fresh one, Grant, by the way.
All right.
So yeah, Grant, to your build,
Thank you, sir.
When you put something together, you're actually considering, well, what if somebody else drives it? Why? That's
because it's done just I let other people drive my cars. Yeah. And I like other people to enjoy my cars. And it's if someone, like I said, if someone's jumping in it, it shouldn't be like something's clearing out, oh, this is an issue. Mm-hmm. Why, if that's an issue, why was it not solved? And it's me trying to solve it where there isn't. Most time people will sit in my interior of my Mustang and they won't realize just within eyes views, there's probably like over a dozen things that's been done to that interior. Mm-hmm. And no one will know that. Well, they'll see maybe the ball shifter and be like, oh, that's what he did. I'm like, no, there's, the Bluetooth was integrated in the wall from an Explorer, and then have the trunk hatch button that was integrated, and figuring out what's the best spots for this and that. Yeah. Leather was changed out, different like small adjustments here and there, and it makes it so that way when I know, like Rob, what was your thought when you jumped in Liger, like from sitting into it?
I had to adjust the seat because I'm shorter than you.
Other than that, like
and the harness,
but I could.
Yeah, but other than that, I mean, did the interior look like nothing had changed?
Well, no, because I know the difference.
Yeah.
I can look around your car and point out things that have come from different levels of Mustang, right? I know that certain things aren't stock, and that's just the level of knowing cars a little bit.
Yeah.
I probably couldn't point out everything.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you could walk me through it. You know
True.
what I mean?
But if you took the average person and threw them in the car.
Yeah, they're not going to know all that.
Yeah.
No, not even close. But it's well done. It still looks like, a potentially stock Mustang.
Yeah.
Right? So.
That's a good looking car, too. You've done a good job with it.
Thank you.
With all the things that you have done to it.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like you have.
Yeah.
No, because he's used parts that could potentially have come from.
And that's the thing is I wasn't going for a sleeper car. You know, and that's the thing is you look at distance and it looks like a Mustang, but it's just something's off. Hood's a little bit different.
Yeah,
it's got
hood's
the
different.
louvers are changed up. The wheels are still factory, but they're different from a base Mustang.
Right.
It's the car that you look and you have to double check, be like, what's up with that?
People that know Mustangs know that those things have been done.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Well,
sure.
it's kind of like older cars too, right? So when you're looking at 60s and 70s muscle cars and things like that,
Yeah.
I can point that stuff out in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Be like, oh man, that's a Z28, and then you go over and you're like, no, it's just a Z28 hood, right? And modern cars, to me, I'm terrible at it. Like, yeah, sure, cool.
I think I'm with you there. I probably just don't pay enough attention to it.
I think that's 100% it, and the
Yeah.
fact that I've had 40 years of looking at those cars,
Right.
and really analyzing them and really getting a good handle on oh, this is the subtle change from this to that to this year to this package and all the new stuff. I mean, so much of it looks so cookie cutter that I don't pay enough attention.
Even the special ones, it's
Yeah.
hard enough to
Yeah.
You can, like the newer Camaros, the SS, the 1LZ or whatever it is, and they do have different body lines, styles.
Right,
Yeah.
but they've only been out for
A number, yeah.
a few years,
yeah, a
right?
few years, yeah.
So I've only, and then most of them, like the hot, stuff like the ZL1
Yeah.
and the 1LE.
Right.
There aren't that many of them out there,
Right.
because they're just priced out, right? So you just don't see enough of them to notice unless you're reading them in magazines and checking all that out, which
Yeah.
I'm terrible. I just don't anymore.
And if you're really looking for one, then you're doing your research and study and figuring out
Exactly.
which one's which and what has the better motor and
Right.
suspension and package and
But I'm not in the market for one.
exactly. So you're less likely to look
Exactly.
Yeah.
and memorize what those things are, unless you're a super junkie of the vehicle.
And some guys are,
Some guys are,
right?
Absolutely.
I mean, I can look at a Tri-5 and tell you if it's 5, 6, or 7
Let's just try 5.
very quickly.
Yeah.
The 55 through 57 Chevrolet,
Okay.
but and same with like a first gen Camaro. I mean, again, it was 3 years,
Right.
right? But I can tell you, I
there's-
mean, that fast,
Well, yeah.
which
there's
one it is.
distinct differences
And then you go
to somebody
show
that knows
me
that there's 3 years.
like a 5th gen Mustang. I got to be honest, I just don't know.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know what badge is on it.
Yeah.
That's about the extent of my knowledge. Even like Josh's 350R.
right.
I mean, the only way you can tell it's an R is if it's got the red emblem, right? And I didn't even know that until I met Josh.
Right.
I bet you the worst offender of that is got to be any of the Challengers. Because you have a basic Challenger, it looks the same as a Hellcat because it still has the same scoop onto it, and it's different than a red eye because you have to pay attention to that little thing in the center of the eye, which means it's got another 80 horses.
Oh yeah.
The only one that really
Badging.
points out is the Demon, but and it's the hood, and most people change it out a lot of the time for aftermarket.
Chrysler's been terrible their entire existence of having 1,800 engine options in every model.
Yeah.
Since at least the 60s.
Yeah. Well, and the badging is
They've
It's
got a
fairly
bunch
small.
of crazy names for
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
And it's like one little thing that's different. I think it's the Mopar thing. But
I guess. I've
Makes it
never been
special and more expensive.
there you go. They just put dollar signs on everything.
I mean, I had a Silverado S10 back in the day. Right? Silverado used to be an interior package.
Yeah.
Oh, was it really?
Now that is just a full-size truck.
Now it's yeah.
I didn't know that.
So I mean, it said Silverado right on the dashboard. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I mean, it's the way it is now, right? They're just taking.
Now it's just the whole thing.
Yeah, so and Ford, I believe, did something similar. Maybe it wasn't Ford.
Well, Ford
The
had
custom.
Ford
They
had
had the
this
custom.
They had the custom.
that too. Ford had the Safari package, and that was pretty distinct. On those old Explorers, they had the glass
Oh,
top.
I'm thinking
Only on
like
the Explorer.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking the name, like Silverado, was an interior package. Now it's a truck.
Now it's a full truck. Now it's
Right.
the name of the,
and
or
that
the model. of the
maybe
truck.
it must not have been Ford because they've always had their 150s, 100s, 250s, whatever. But there are other ones that are the same thing. Like this was an interior package, and now it's the name of the freaking car.
Yeah.
I'm
The Eddie
drawing
Bauer edition.
I'm drawing a blank now.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what it was for the
Eddie
longest time.
Bauer.
Eddie Bauer.
Well, that
and
was
then they had
that wasn't just interior though. They had a
exterior a little bit
body kit.
Yeah.
that was
so there was
that went with
that. They had Ford had what's it called?
The Ranger used to be
It was a
an
full
that was a
F100. It was
yeah.
a full size
Yeah.
truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it became its own vehicle.
Yeah. Yes, it did.
I'm trying to think. They had the Harley Davidson, they had the Adrenaline, they had the Raptor, and Raptor.
They still have Raptors.
No, I know, but it's weird because
XL.
now it's jumping between you. It used to be the F-150 Raptor. Now it's jumping after models.
I think the Raptor was awesome when it came out.
I think so too.
Now,
You think it's watered down now?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, it went over to the Bronco too.
Every line, it feels
Yeah,
like.
Bronco's another one of those.
Well, now
that
they've come out
has,
with
like
the trimmer.
every
that's true.
freaking possible name and variation out there. I mean, where they have Sasquatch and Backcountry, and
Badlands,
Black Diamond.
Yeah, I mean they have so many of them.
Yep.
I'm just excited to see the actual, like the big one now, right? Because when they first
gonna
came
do a full
out,
size?
they were only doing the little tiny ones, the little sport ones or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah. The grandma one.
Yeah, and it was like, dude, I thought this
Oh,
was
the
going to
Bronco
be
2, is that what you're talking about?
No,
when
the Sport, the Bronco
new one, the
Sport.
Bronco
Yeah,
Sport.
it's a Bronco 2.
It is.
Basically, it is. Yeah. Yeah, it is kind
Yeah.
of. But the Bronco 2, the original Bronco 2 was way cooler.
Those were cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it
I
was a piece of garbage for the most part,
Yeah.
but it was cool.
It was cool.
I'm a Chevy guy, and you know, big time Blazer dude, but that Bronco too is.
Dude, K5
Yeah.
Blazer.
So I need 2 K5 Blazers, by the way.
I had one.
I need a 4x4 with a 454 jack to the sky.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I need a two-wheel drive,
drive,
slam to
slammed.
the floor.
Yeah.
You know, and one of the original, like, early year ones that had the full removable top, not where the top came off behind the B pillar. I want the two-wheel drive, slam to the ground, with a LS3, full removable top. But it's hard to find a two-wheel drive Blazer
It really is.
anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's insane. They didn't make
a lot of
nearly as many as the four-wheel drives. And then the ones that are left, they've either already been done or they're
Been converted.
roach.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I
You
have
okay
a
over there?
He's trying to be Grant.
out of breathe.
Swallow your microphone.
I have a buddy that really liked the
Yeah.
Tahoe,
Yeah.
and he had an old Suburban, like a what was it, a '68 or something like that.
It's the longest car
Yeah.
name in history. It's a Suburban.
So he cut it, and they had the
Shortened
third
it.
door when they back when they had the third door and it was a suicide door. He shortened it like 15 inches and slammed it. It was two-wheel drive. The thing was freaking cool when he finished it.
So what do you think about suicide doors?
Depends on the
Lincoln.
vehicle. Depends on the vehicle.
I'm
Lincoln
a
Continental.
huge
I do
fan
like
of
those.
the rear suicide door.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. It just looks like it would be a pain in the ass to
If the front
open and
doors
get
are
out
suicide
in a
doors.
parking
Yeah.
space.
You got to be able to open it almost all the way because you can't get in
to
past
get
the
out.
steering wheel.
Exactly. But out on the rear, I think it's cool.
Yeah. You still see them on high-end luxury cars.
You see him on Rolls Royces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
if
doesn't,
we-
Bentleys, I think.
doesn't Bugatti have one that's, or I'm sorry,
No,
Bentley.
Bentley does, yeah.
Yeah.
Bentley have one. Yeah.
Don't
we
the
ever make
Rivians
it-
have them?
Huh?
Don't the Rivians have suicide doors? It's
I
one of
don't
the
know.
electric cars. I thought it does.
Shoot, my Dodge Ram 1500 had suicide.
My
doors.
Colorado's got some rear suicide doors. You have to
Yeah.
open the front door
Yeah.
so you can open the back door.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Just like that. Yep.
I tell you what, it's a trip when you pull over on the side of the road to take a pee, and you got a passenger in there, and you're
they
like,
need
I'm
to
just
get
going to
out.
open your doors so that I can take a pee. And you open the front door, and then you open the back door, and it rips on their seatbelt.
So the
they're-
Bentley that has the front suicide door, there's also a slot
Yep.
where a umbrella can go.
Yep.
So when you get out, you open the
Fancy.
door.
Didn't they
You
have
step-
one
No,
of
no,
those?
no.
grab
Not
the
when
umbrella.
you get out of there. Your butler gets it for you. Your driver.
Oh, yes.
I
you're
want to
right.
think they used to have one of those behind like a tail light or something in one of those super
umbrella?
high-end cars.
umbrella
where,
slot.
yeah, so like as your
that's
driver got out and walked around the car to get to you, they
Oh.
could open a tail light, pull the umbrella out, and have the umbrella as you got out of the car.
His name is Charles, by the way.
That's pretty slick.
Charles, the driver.
Yeah, Charles
Yes.
the driver. You better have a cool hat on or I'm out, man.
Yeah.
What
If I ever
was,
have a chauffeur, he's wearing
was-
a suit with that little funky hat because
Kato.
well, no. Batman's
Alfred.
Alfred.
Alfred,
Thank you.
yeah.
That's the one. Alfred.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be Alfred.
you bring me back to the C3 Corvette every time you talk about Batman. Man.
Really?
It's like that is the iconic, the Mike. What the hell
Oh,
is
you're
his
talking.
name?
You're talking about the
from the '80s Batman.
Oh,
I can't
you're
think of
talking
that
about,
actor
um,
now.
Oh, you're. It's bugging me. Tim Burton's
It was a
Batman.
Tim Burton, though,
Tim
yeah.
Burton's Batman.
It looked
with Michael Keaton.
Michael
There
Keaton,
you
that
go.
was his
Yeah.
name. It's
Yeah.
like a C3 Corvette with a Continental kit on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
With a,
Almost.
That's
Like,
funny.
have you seen?
every time I see a C3 Corvette, I'm like, man, Batmobile.
Have you seen? God, what's his name? That's gonna bug me. Casey Puchwich actually built and had and videotaped for the longest time a functional turbine Batmobile car.
Yeah, we've talked about that before.
Yeah.
That would be pretty. That would
that'd
be
be
trick.
sick.
You know, Jay Leno's got that turbine-powered motorcycle.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I would love to ride something like that, but what a trip, man. Because the faster you go, the more horsepower those engines make.
Oh yeah.
That's scary.
It would be scary as shit.
Turning
You
20,000
better have
RPM.
a really long
Yeah.
road.
Oh,
Yeah, right. It's like it's the epitome of the boss hog, where you got the V8.
Boss Hoss.
Boss Hoss. Yeah, you got the V8 between your legs. That would be super fun just to.
I will say this weekend, speaking of jets down in cars and stuff like that, it was awesome seeing Adam go by because it sounded like just an aircraft going through with his supercharger blowing off.
That little Miata.
Yeah.
Dude, I hate that Miata. And no offense, Adam, I'm sure you're probably listening. I don't hate your Miata because it's a Miata. I hate your Miata because it beat me
Oh, it's so
pretty
fast.
much all of last year.
He's right there
I
this
know.
year, too.
It drives
Hey,
me
if-
insane to
Yeah.
know that I have a C5
Derek.
Corvette
Yep.
and I can't beat that little Miata. But
know it.
Yeah.
he has done so much work to that car.
It's
Yeah.
barely a Miata anymore.
Now it's got the shell, right?
Yeah.
Sheet
Yeah.
metal.
Yep.
Other than that, I mean, it's supercharged. It's
Yeah.
got arrow out the yin yang.
Yep.
And it is so nimble. It is a sweet. If
Dude,
you
the way
want to
he
start
throws-
racing,
The way he throws that thing through the course
oh
is
yeah,
insane.
If you
just
want to learn
watch
how
it.
to race,
Yeah.
race a hopped up Miata.
You
Derek.
just watch that thing grab when he throws
Oh,
it through
man.
a slalom or something.
And I
It's
was
pretty
so
crazy.
proud of Robin this weekend.
Oh, yeah,
got
she did so
I mean, she
good.
hit a cone and coned it off the run.
Yeah.
But she was within a half a second of him.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And she's multiple seconds behind him
Yeah.
most of the time.
Yeah, normally
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
me and Robin like trying to battle out, you know, because
Dude,
I'm always trying to
she-
catch up with my race mom. But like this weekend, she killed it out there.
She wheeled the shit out of that
Oh,
car
yeah.
this weekend. She
It
did
was-
a good job.
awesome.
Check that out. You got like a 57 Chevrolet ass end on a trike. What is going on
Some
here?
ridiculous
Yeah, so Derek-
stuff. So
If
Got
you
all the boss hosses up
real
on the
fast,
screen now.
Derek, if that Miata upsets you, I've got news. I'll tell you off air about someone I know who's coming to the club. That's not us. Someone we
great.
talked to this weekend
Great.
has told me their build, and I know it's going to be a pretty mean Miata building over 400 horses. Come to the club.
That's going to piss me off. What was that? They had that
I
thing
mean, if
that...
it's putting out 400 horses, you can't.
No,
I
you
mean-
can't joke with that.
No.
Right? I mean, I'm putting out a little over 400 horse at the rear
And
wheel.
you're going to weigh
and-
twice as much.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm twice as long and
Yeah.
wide.
That's the
and-
thing about the Miata. You know, as fast as Adam has that car cranked up, he can fit through our courses so
Oh,
much.
yeah.
Imagine if
easier.
someone brought a
Oh,
K
yeah.
car,
just so
like a
nimble
cappuccino.
comparatively.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, that'd be.
I mean, I need a 90-foot section of slalom, and he could probably get through a 40-foot section of slalom if you
Right.
tried.
Oh
right?
yeah, we could choke it down, but then it's
Please
just gonna-
don't.
No, please don't. I weigh too much for that.
I would just be mad at myself for doing it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I would hate it. That would be terrible.
Vipers
Why
would
did
really
I
struggle.
do this?
Yeah. So
Those Vipers are running some big meats.
Oh, yeah.
too, man.
345s in the rear, 355s in the rear, and fronts you got what 315s. I
I think
think
they're running 325s.
are
up
they?
front.
Yeah,
I don't know.
they're bonkers.
They're big. They're bigger than what I got. I got 315 square.
I think stock on,
Good
at least
enough.
on the Gen 2 it's 275.
Sparking.
But
Yeah.
I know the later gens got way bigger.
Have you seen one of the first gens with a roof on it?
Yes.
That goofy,
toupee?
weird aftermarket.
they're kind of bubbly.
Oh,
They're
you mean
ugly.
the
Yeah.
bubble hardtop one?
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't
Yeah,
seen them in
'cause-
person. I like them though.
Because they didn't come with a top or windows for that matter.
They
right?
came-
the
they-
first gen
So
Viper.
they didn't come with windows. They came with a plastic window you put in and zip up. And the tops they came
my
with a
gosh.
toupee, like a
Yeah,
black
but they didn't.
vinyl top.
They didn't come from the factory that
Yeah,
way.
they
You
did.
had to buy them. I thought.
Really?
I thought that
What's
was
that?
all aftermarket. I thought from the factory they just came.
We'll have to
Open
ask
cockpit.
one of our Viper viewer or listeners.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know.
Not a clue.
Mm-hmm.
John would know.
I just
You would
remember
know.
that first gen Viper being up on my wall as a kid.
That's a good car.
That
would
was
be
your poster car?
One of them.
One of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to see my walls. You couldn't see my walls when I was a kid.
Oh,
Actually.
same.
Mhm.
Same here.
I mean, every square inch was covered in something.
Yep.
Yeah.
What a mess.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think back then, I'm like, oh my God, I would have heart palpitations just walking into a room like this today.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for my kids' room to end up being that way, you know, having the same thoughts my father did. Take some of that shit down and start over.
Nope. All right, let's pivot.
Okay.
Okay.
So do you want me to turn that way or this way or
Towards the wall.
towards the wall?
Yeah.
One moment. Excuse me, guys.
Hold on, let me turn his mic off.
Okay.
Yeah. What car do you think is the most durable car on the road?
Oh, it's
So we're
gotta be-
talking
it's gotta be a
German,
Toyota.
right?
No.
Just what's your
Durable.
opinion on it? I mean, I looked some stuff up, and it's actually really hard to pinpoint that.
Mm-hmm.
But for, say, public opinion,
Public opinion is
What
going
do
to
you
say anything
think?
Toyota or Honda.
It's got to be a Toyota.
what do you
I
think?
mean,
I had a Ford.
Volvo?
I had a
Let's see.
Ford Ranger when I was
Volvos
a
are
kid.
freaking Sherman tanks.
Oh yeah,
That's
I
true
would
on that
agree
one.
with that.
that's something I don't always think about too. That's a Swedish car, right?
Yeah. No, it's
German.
No.
No?
Volvo, I think he's right. It's God, I think it's Swedish.
Swedish,
Yeah,
Norway.
is it?
I think
it's
you're.
from
Yeah.
that area.
All right.
Scandinavian. or
We have
something.
Google.
Okay.
Someone Google.
No, we don't know how to use that.
Let's
No,
see.
we don't.
I
Anyway.
say Toyota, so it's
So,
got to be it, right?
My search came up with Toyota Land Cruiser being the most durable
No,
vehicle.
we're going specific model.
Well, it doesn't have to be, but that's what I found.
Okay.
Right.
Well, look,
Of all the different lists that I found, because there's multiples.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a list, right? Oh, the 8
Oh,
most
yeah.
durable, the 10 most blah blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah of all time, blah 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 blah.
kind of like
that was the
assholes and
most-
opinions, right?
Exactly. Well, that was the most common one on any given list.
Okay.
Rated the highest was the Toyota Land Cruiser.
I can believe that.
Yeah.
Oh, this has an F Series Super Duty.
Most durable of all time.
That
What
wouldn't
it-
surprise
That's
me.
what it claims. And then Toyota Land
With the
Cruiser,
7.3, like the original
Toyota
7.3s.
Tundra, Toyota Sequoia.
Those trucks that go forever.
I still disagree.
Honda Pilot. Ugh.
Get out.
And
Would
then
it-
Toyota
What
Tacoma.
dumb list are you looking at?
Does it have anything with a Cummins on
Toyota
it? You put a-
4Runner. It's like of the top 28, the top 8 of 10 are all
Yeah.
Toyotas.
There's got to be a Cummins
You know,
on
if
there
you change the
sometime.
oil in a Toyota motor, they just seem to run forever.
You don't even need to
So
change the oil.
I did write down a list of the most durable cars out of the 80s.
Okay.
Okay. So
The
they've had
80s.
they've had a long time to prove
Do
themselves.
they have durable cars from
They've
the
had
80s?
a long time to prove themselves,
They,
haven't they?
They have,
All right.
or not proved themselves.
Yep.
Which motors had which trucks had the international motors?
This is not. I don't know. International.
cars.
Well,
Scout.
you said
Let
from
him read his
80s.
list.
Okay. I
Yeah.
thought you wanted us to
And
guess.
this is the most durable vehicle. It doesn't have to be a truck. It
Okay.
doesn't mean that it's like you can throw rocks at it all day and it's still going to drive away.
Okay.
Whatever. So actually, number one car, Ford Taurus SHO. Super
The
high end.
show,
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
specific to the show.
Specific to that.
The Yamaha had.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, what did it have different than the?
High output motor.
Yeah,
I mean, that's as far as I
That's
know.
as far as I know as well. I did not do the deeper research because it takes too freaking much time. This
You mean you have a
surface
job?
shit. This is surface shit, okay?
You have a job.
Nobody else is
and
looking
car
anything up.
projects
I look
to
up
work
stuff.
on.
Right? Okay? Cut me some slack here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lock up your shop and make you do more research.
God
you go.
damn it. I got car shit to do.
I know.
That's why you're in the shop.
I gotta beat you next week.
No,
Jeep Cherokee number 2.
I can believe that.
That surprises me because
really.
my opinion of Jeeps is pretty low.
Yeah, but they keep going. Like we're talking everything from the 80s. Is what you said.
Yeah.
How cars from the 80s would you still see on the road now? And you do see those Jeep Cherokees.
Well, because there's like
Yeah.
a following, and they just continuously,
They
repair it.
continuously repair head gaskets and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
like
it's
the
not a
goddamn
Subaru.
Subarus.
That and
Uh,
they're super cheap to pick up and build into a 4x.
They have a
Are they
ton.
cheap? I don't feel like they are cheap.
They have a ton of
I feel
aftermarket
like those
parts.
people want a lot of money for what that is.
I think that's coming back up, but
Yeah.
for a while you could get them $1,500 to $3,000
Hmm.
and turn them into a 4x.
Sure.
If I'm going to spend that kind of money on a car that I don't care about, I'm going chump racing. I want to go chump racing bad.
Yeah.
Oh, we should do that.
Yeah.
There's a group of us who want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, we have a car for it.
Yeah, that you still won't tell me about.
We could do an update at the end of the episode. I got some updates for it.
Okay.
'Kay.
We'll talk. Car number 3. I should have done this in reverse order, but I am not a pro, so here we are.
Okay.
Car number 3.
Some BMW.
Mercedes 300D.
Ooh, I was close. It was a German car.
German car,
It
yeah.
was going to be something like that.
Yeah.
Also
Now,
did not come
these
from
are
the factory with
out of the
blinkers.
80s. Yeah, out of the 80s. No. I mean, if they did, they removed them at the dealership. It was like, you don't need these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they removed
You're-
it from the driver's brain.
You're
is what
never
they
going to
did.
use these. Don't
Oh,
worry
you
about
drive
it.
a Mercedes.
They just took the
You didn't
bulbs
realize
out.
there's a left stick on your steering column.
What's this for?
Yeah, I don't know.
Just
I just turned on the headlights one day and never touched the stick again.
right. Number 4 is a Chevy Camaro.
Yeah, buddy.
How about that?
They definitely weren't IROCs.
Well, durable enough to make it till
They were
2024.
Berlinettas.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Nobody could drive that fast.
Right.
Yeah. I cannot read that.
Oh.
Number 5, Saab 900 Turbo.
What an ugly freaking car.
Yeah, but they last forever,
Ever.
right?
Yeah.
Well, they're right up there with the Volvos. I mean, let's be honest. They're well made. You know, they were more of like a luxury vehicle as well. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, in the 80s anyway. So,
Well, yeah,
I
they
guess
were.
it doesn't surprise me, but
I wouldn't put them as luxury necessarily, but they weren't common either.
no.
It seemed like almost a Mercedes-esque purchase,
Like
right?
a
Right,
Lexus.
right.
Yeah, it was.
Right.
It was just out of the ordinary kind of car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what the price range ran on those. Were they Mercedes dollars
I
in
have
the
no
day?
idea.
I don't either.
No way.
I know Volvos can be pretty close now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a nice rig. What Charlie just got that Volvo. It's a beautiful car.
Yeah.
A newer or
Yeah.
oh
It's a pretty beautiful blue color.
Can I make a guess on what's next on the list?
yes, please do.
Rolls Royce.
Nope.
No.
Didn't even make the list.
Really?
No, not the
I can see the
not
engines.
the newer ones.
No, the old,
ones were-
like the 80s.
1980. We're
No.
in the 80s here.
Like yeah.
old ones were really reliable, but the 80s and newer, not
No,
so
I thought the
much.
engines were still good. I know the hydraulic systems failed.
It better not be a Jaguar because that spends all its time in the shop.
Also not on the
No.
list.
Yeah, thank you.
No.
Good.
Ford Crown Vic.
They made those in the 80s?
You know what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
That is a rock
They've been
star
making
pick.
those for a
Yeah.
long time.
I mean, the
still
cops
running, and they
ran
still
the
look the same.
crap out of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people buy them and throw them on the racetrack.
I know.
Without doing anything
It's
to
hilarious
them.
to see them on a racetrack.
But they're good cars.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
My
It doesn't look like it would be.
Right.
yeah. Back in the day when I first started autocrossing, my friendly biggest rival, his was a Crown Vic because it was the closest thing to Liger.
Oh yeah. I remember that car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great car he had.
You'd think that they would be like super uber heavy,
Well, they are.
but they're not that much heavier than a Mustang.
Yeah, they're not.
That just makes
You got-
the Mustang super.
When you're
uber
racing,
heavy.
Well,
it's
you know.
two boats going back to back.
Well, I'm thinking like
yeah.
60s if we're going to boats, like land yachts, but
Crown Vics. I mean, it's pushing land
it's
yacht.
it's a big
Yeah.
car.
Yeah. Number 7, Volvo 240.
That doesn't
Another
surprise me.
Volvo, so two
Yeah.
Volvos on that list.
That one, that
I'm
goes
just-
forever. That's the tank one, the iconic one. The
Yeah.
big boxy
It's the one you always see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're still on the road, just
Oh, yeah.
cruising.
Is that the
Mhm.
big one?
Blowing
or is
a
that
lot
the
of blue
smaller
smoke.
The
one.
smaller one.
Yeah.
But they're just like, if you draw a picture of a car and it's what it looks like, just the iconic.
It's just a Volvo.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You have a 4-year-old draw a picture of a car.
Oh,
It's
you
a
drew a Volvo.
Yeah.
Nice. Good job. And the last one is a Buick Skylark.
Really?
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
that's
I wouldn't have guessed.
Durable.
I would have never guessed that
Buick
either.
makes a good vehicle. man.
durable. Yeah.
I'm surprised the Ford with the 7.3 didn't make a list or nothing with the Cummins van list.
No trucks were on there.
Yeah, that was shocking.
That might be a
1980s.
different list. Yeah.
80s.
Yeah.
They had
but
them back then.
I mean, they had the.
They weren't as good back
F-150.
then. They
Weren't
weren't
they?
as. Nah.
I think
I don't think they were.
1980s. I think late 80s. The fastest production car Ford had was the Ford Lightning.
Was that in the 80s or the early 90s?
Oh,
That
no,
was
it
in
is
the
both.
90s.
No,
That
I
was
think
in the
they
90s.
started in like 88 or something like that.
I don't know.
I'll pull it up.
But
Yeah, double
You'll
check
have
on
just
that one,
because
I'm
it's the
pretty sure-
fastest doesn't mean it's durable.
because they had the Grand
Because
National
the square
for
body
GMC.
Chevrolet went till like 91.
Yeah, with the Tornado. or Typhoon, I should say.
Oh, that was the
That's
Blazer.
different.
Yeah.
And this is completely different subject. Where did you guys come up
Because I'm
with
trying to figure out this Ford Lightning he's talking about, and that was more the rounded F-150.
He was saying
than
he's
it was
surprised
not
that's
for
not on there.
durable. It's not durable.
No, it's
Why would
not
it be on
durable.
there?
Because it's a Ford. It's found on the road dead.
Sure.
Fucked
Whatever.
over rebuilt Dodge.
Fix it again, Tony.
I'm gonna stop there before I get into the non-PC.
Rob's trying to fix. That's Fiat.
Figure it out, Rob. Damn.
Damn.
There's your new Ford.
There you go.
Damn.
I guess it was 93.
Yeah.
Okay. Opinion.
First on race day.
Mm-hmm.
I had to get mine. in.
Probably not, but yeah.
Opinion on what?
Well, it'd have to put up a hell of a fight to take me down at this point.
Right.
For what?
Ego-wise, anyway.
Yeah. There's not one out there that'll.
I'm not taking this crown off till somebody takes it from me, and I know it's going to be taken away.
Oh, Josh would like to
rapidly.
do it. Josh would love to do
Going
it.
to be taken
Derek,
away.
once I get
like
the new
next
wheels
month.
on, Derek, once new wheels come out,
I expect
Those
you to put up a
Hoosiers
fight.
are going to change your car.
oh yeah.
You don't realize how much you will lose 2 or 3 seconds in a 60-second course
I bet.
easy by putting Hoosiers on there.
Well, not to mention he was running completely worn out RE71s.
Yeah.
They're
Was
actually
running,
corded.
Yeah.
has
Recorded.
been running.
Is running.
It is running right now. But yeah, like I was, well, my best time was what, a 59. So I wasn't getting the 55s like you guys.
Well, only 2 of us made it to the 55.
Yeah.
True. But
56,
Well, Corey was in
57.
the 55s, but he never had a clean 55.
true. But it was 56, 3 seconds off then, let's just say, from getting down to where the bottom crowd was at.
You'll pick up 2 seconds with a set of Hoosiers.
Yeah.
Easy.
Just with a set of new tires.
Yeah.
Well, I won't argue.
At least a second.
I
Yeah.
won't argue with that. But those Hoosiers make a huge difference.
Yeah.
But there's a learning curve when you throw the Hoosiers on your car, too.
So that's
They feel different.
So I've
They
driven
feel way different,
I've driven a
so-
Hoosiers car. David Pucknell. It was way back in the day. This is like my second year of driving Autocross. He threw me the keys to his car because he wanted me to see, or I didn't know what Hoosiers like. He's like, just drive my car, see what that's like. And I'm like, okay. So I took his car, first time on Hoosiers, punched it, and came back. And I'm like, oh man, that was fun. I was like, I tried not pushing it too hard because I was just trying to figure out the car. And he's like, you were figuring out the car? And I go, yeah, I was still trying to figure out like what it could do. He's like, your first lap put a better record than I did all day.
Yeah, right. Hoosiers, you know, when you think about like street tires and then moving into slicks, you know, not just Hoosiers. I mean, any true track slick. You know, when you've got your street car, you can push it a little bit, and they push, and then just let go.
Yeah.
And a Hoosier will do that too.
Yeah.
But you can just push it, and if it gets loose, I mean, you just lift the throttle a quarter of an inch, and you're ripping again. You don't have that like, wham, there it went, and the car's spinning in circles. Now, the car still spins in circles.
Yeah, you put your foot down.
I mean, I've done it too.
It'll do
and
it.
Then you're thinking to yourself, please God, don't flat spot my $2,500 tires.
Yeah, you just keep them spinning. That's why I put my foot down.
The one
Make
thing
a smoke show like Rob does. But I mean, it takes time. At least it took me time to get used to it because I was so used to the car, just like you are with your car, that you know where that edge is and where you can't go beyond it. And you're going to find that the Hoosier it extends the edge, and you're going to be like, oh, this is awesome. But it actually extends it beyond where you think it actually will extend.
Well, Rob did that recently with my car. Like he said, I know my car could do that, and having someone else go that limit made it easy. Like, okay, I can go these limits. Let me step out and go further.
Yeah,
you know,
it's hard to push that limit yourself and find it. You know, I find myself doing is like I need to find the limits again.
Yeah.
Because I'm driving within this comfort zone,
right,
and not stepping out and
right.
Going to the potential.
We all
of the
get
car.
there, especially early in the season too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I only race during our race season.
Unfortunately, mostly that too.
Right. So come the first event, I mean, we race against guys that have been down in Arizona. And granted, they're not doing autocross; they're doing big track, whatever. But still, they've got seat time, and it's not even in the same car. Whatever excuses they want to come up with when I bring it up. But the fact is, you've got seat time hauling ass.
Oh yeah.
And you're always finding the limit all the time. Whereas
Always
I
testing
parked
it.
the car in September. apparently find a cone up in the back end of the car in March when I finally took the wheel off that I didn't realize I put there in September.
Yeah.
You didn't blame that on your dad?
Well, it would have been nice, but he hurt himself and didn't drive that last event.
It was a little hard to blame it on him.
Yeah, so there was nobody to push the blame on. So come May, it's the first time I've even driven the car, even taken it out of the trailer since September.
That's one of the reasons
Because I need garage space, so it stays in the trailer.
That's one of the reasons I like Liger still being a street car, and I use that in quote unquotes, because that is seat time. Just being in your car and driving it every so often, if it's to the store, you're getting kind of more used to remembering, the visual of how the hood's at, remembering how
feeling the car.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you'll come into
clutch
it.
feels
But
like.
you're not pushing the edge.
No.
That's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
But it's better than coming in cold after 6 months of sitting in the garage.
yeah.
Well,
I mean, at least you sat in the seat.
Yeah, I mean, you could be in a simulator with your seatbelts on. That's a whole different story.
Yeah. For sure.
How do you're into that simulator thing?
What's that?
I said you're into that simulator.
He's in
All
the
that.
simulator with
Yeah.
no seatbelts. It's very dangerous.
Yeah. I'm really
Man,
close to the floor,
If
though.
you fall out of that seat, you had too many beers. It's not
For
the
sure,
car.
yeah.
I mean, it's
kinda
not the racing.
It's hard to fall out of that seat, really.
So
when you're in there.
tell me this, because I've only been in a simulator a couple of times.
Yeah.
You're currently in one right now.
You didn't even know
I'm in a
this was-
simulation, not a
okay.
simulator. Yeah, see, semantics. How does it actually translate to
reaction time.
reaction time or just reality in general? I mean,
No, that's what I'm saying is
Yeah.
that's how it translates is
Yeah.
your reaction
Reaction
times.
that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
Because I know, I drive with my asshole.
Yep.
Yeah, you feel it.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then-
in simulators, you don't have the feel
Right.
except through the steering wheel.
Yep.
It's got
Right.
really good feedback.
You don't have
there.
the G-force.
Right.
and-
You don't have any of that.
They do make them, but you're spending an arm and a leg to get those simulators.
Yeah, yeah.
But I've been in
Mine's-
one of those
mine's
before
not-
too, and it's not the same.
It's not
Yeah,
the same.
no.
And mine's not that quality.
Mhm.
So it's eye-hand coordination. And
Yeah.
that translates into your reaction time. You know
Okay.
how to drive a car. You
Yeah.
know
Right.
what the feelings are. You know when your car's about to step out. You've driven that enough.
Right.
But to sharpen your reaction times, it actually works pretty good.
That makes perfect
Yeah.
sense,
Yeah.
actually, yeah.
yeah.
That's it's similar, but not segue, but similar. That's why all my apprentices, when I teach them to race or drive, I have them play Project Gotham Racing 2 from the beginning up before I train them. It's because of your eyes on the car and where you're putting it,
Yeah.
and it trains you from a slow Volkswagen Bug all the way up to Le Mans cars.
Did you just say you're training people in Gotham?
Yeah,
That's what I heard.
I'm Batman.
Project
Gotham Project Racing 2 is the game's name. But
Okay.
no, I do have different apprentices I've had over the years.
Hey, I kick
Not
ass
joking.
and Need for Speed, but I mean,
It's but I'm saying like that's
when you
before taking one
flip
on.
the car, it just turns itself back over and you keep going.
Press
But before
reset.
taking one on, like for example, we're doing country road driving or autocross or whatever, your eyes need to be trained so you're not lazy behind that. You need to know, especially with this game, it's more of rear road tracks and roads. So you're knowing when you're taking a corner what to look at, where the chevrons on the road would be. If it's nighttime, what to be looking at. You don't want to be looking at the lines. You want to be looking ahead, what's at the corner,
At the
not get
deer.
kind of tunnels. Yeah, you don't want to be getting tunnel vision. And as you're gaining speed, if you were to start with a fast car versus a slow car, your reaction times are going to be different. You want to get really adjust that on every single range.
Well, I think that is true in reality as well. It's super fun to drive a slow car fast.
Oh, yeah.
And boring as hell to drive a fast car slow. You can put 700 wheel horsepower in anybody's hands, and if they don't know how to drive,
Yep.
Watch the
it's
shit
not.
show.
Yeah, right. So throw them in an underpowered, little sports car. I mean, I think
that's the way to learn.
That's, yeah.
yeah, I mean that's why I think the Miata is probably the ultimate race car for a novice, right, or a beginner, or somebody
Yeah.
who just wants to get into the sport.
Yeah.
Because you can't really, the car's not going to outdrive you.
Right.
Right, and you can learn momentum driving. You can learn all kinds of things
Yeah.
that are super important to you before you just
Get yourself in trouble.
slam
Yeah.
a hopped
it's
up
a great place to-
Corvette and you're underneath your right foot and see what
That's
happens.
the graduating we talked about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't start in a Corvette, you start in a shit box, right?
I mean, starting off in a
ideally.
C5 Corvette's not a bad place to start either, but
But you're not going to drive it to its full potential.
No, absolutely not.
Even the first year.
Well, what it took
No.
you guys 10 years to get to the potential of the car.
Right.
I mean, I think we were at the potential of the car for at least a year or two prior to that,
yeah.
before,
Yeah, before deciding, hey, we
buckling
need to
down
do
and spending
something.
10 grand on a motor.
Yeah.
But even then,
Yeah.
I was still having a blast, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Just
I mean,
pushing it as hard as
for
you
a
could.
15 grand investment into a
Yeah.
car and, plus, breakable things, right?
Yeah.
Expendables like
Right.
brake pads, rotors,
All this stuff.
oil, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a great platform to learn on, and it's a great platform to stay on for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Are you trying,
Anyways.
are you trying to cut us off?
No.
here? Oh,
No.
you're turning the
Just getting lights
on.
out.
I thought we were having like mood lighting in here or something. We're gonna start getting,
I was kind of enjoying it.
start-
It was
get-
getting hard to see the.
we're gonna get
the
cozy with each other here in a minute.
That's just creepy.
Oh, I can take my shirt off.
That's
No,
worse.
I've seen that plenty of times. I'll never forget when
Okay.
you asked me to rub that crap on your back. I was like, nah,
It's called sunscreen.
That's not happening, buddy.
No. Give me a spray can. I'll shoot you
Yeah,
from
I'll
10
s-
feet away.
I'll spray you down, but I ain't rubbing it on
Yeah.
you. Forget that shit.
It just got weird. Right. So I got another question. What car is so good looking that you would forgive all its flaws? Because there's a lot of cars out there with
Countach.
flaws.
I'm gonna stay with the
I'm with you.
Lamborghini, but I'm gonna go with the the '95 Diablo
Yep.
VT.
Yeah. Did it have a lot of flaws?
Yes.
It's
Did
just
it?
a crap car.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm with you on the Countach
Yeah.
because it was a pretty flawed car, but it's so iconic and so cool that everybody's
Yeah.
just like, yeah,
I mean, I had a Countach and that Diablo up
Yep,
on my wall
on the
as a
wall.
kid.
Yep.
The purple with the white glacier interior.
Interior,
whatever
yeah.
The hell it
I've
had.
seen that car in person. That was the first Diablo I saw.
I mean,
was that color scheme.
to me in the in the '90s as a young man,
yeah.
that was just. I mean, if you bought that car, you made it.
Oh, yeah.
right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Good Lord.
Now, I mean, fuck, who could afford that? Yeah, I mean, who could afford it
There's
then?
very-
But
there's
now,
few, yeah.
It's weird. When I was in high school, those were actually cheap as hell. You could have bought a Diablo for 80 grand. I mean, cheap
Okay,
as compared to a
let's-
supercar.
compared to
yeah,
where it
let's
is
be
now.
real. I mean, I didn't buy a new GMC
True.
pickup recently because
80
it's
grand.
80 grand.
Yeah,
And that was a stripped down model.
Yeah, and that's a functional vehicle
Yeah.
that you could use, right?
Mhm.
Not a garage queen.
One I would add to that list is a Pantera.
yeah,
To me,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's,
it's
it's such
right
an
out- right off-
iconic, gorgeous car.
Huge amount of flaws.
Huge amount of
but-
flaws. But I
yeah.
would be like, yeah, that's fine. I'll take it.
I mean, what is
It-
that's before the GT40?
no, it was after.
It was after the GT40, but I mean that was like their attempt to step into that realm outside of the track, right?
Yeah.
that
It-
was a pretty cool.
Does the Vector,
Development.
anything from Vector, would that count at that or not? Because,
I don't know.
There-
Rob's playing on his phone.
oh,
so
do you know
who
what
knows what's
Vector
going on.
looks like?
I know what a Vector is.
I know, but do you know what one looks like, Derek?
No.
So Vector from the 90s and late 80s is kind of like a wedge-shaped car that
All right, Jeremy, pull up the Vector. You got that old school Ford Lightning still up here.
it's based off like kind of the whole purpose was to base it off like a fighter jet interior and everything else. They had 500 horsepower, but they were automatics with a 3-speed automatic from a RV. So they were so slow to get up to speed, but once they were up to speed, that's the wrong pair. There we go. He brought the
Oh
Vector
yeah,
from
there you
Indians.
go. I have
Yeah.
seen those.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very Countach-esque.
Well, it was the same era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that something that looks so good it could be forgiven? You
I
know?
don't think it looks. I mean, it's very
It's,
futuristic.
it's very of its time.
For the
very of its
80s.
time. I had that car on my wall.
Yeah.
Because it was like such a one-off kind of car, right?
yeah.
for
Look
real.
at that. It's so
But
good.
I don't know. They're
Oh, look,
cool.
purple with glacier white interior.
Hey, wait, go that once.
That black one's amazing.
I didn't know they had scissor doors.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, what like crazy concept
look
car
at
at that
that.
time didn't have scissor doors?
I know.
right?
Any Ferraris.
That
Ferraris
almost
didn't.
that almost
Clarendon.
made it a supercar. It had to
McLaren
it had
have gull
scissor
wing or
doors.
scissor doors
Yeah, right.
or the butterfly doors of McLarens or
Right.
you know, gull wing door.
That's what made it a supercar.
Yeah, absolutely.
As when you
When you were a kid,
kids,
yeah,
right?
I didn't really know much about the rest of it, but it had scissor doors, so that was
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a slab wedge-shaped car. It's not that
but it also has,
interesting design-wise until
Yeah.
it gets back to the cockpit, and then the side scoops and that kind of stuff, and where the intake goes in.
Yep.
Right.
It's kind of interesting,
The
but
int-
it's just got a giant flat piece of glass for a windshield.
Could you imagine
Right.
replacing that?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Did you know that the Gen 3 Camaro, that was the back hatch on that, was the largest piece of automotive glass ever made? To
Really?
That point?
Really
It is a massive piece of glass.
window. Interesting.
And it's got curves in it, too. It's not flat.
I wonder what it
They-
is now.
Oh, God, who knows?
Tesla's front window that goes all the way to
On
the
the
back.
on
Can
the
we not
Cybertruck?
talk about Tesla or the Cybertruck, for
Motherfucker.
We
God?
just saw one down the road.
The Cybertruck does not have a big piece of glass.
Yeah. I will say the Countach,
It's got
though,
a big piece of ass.
I'm
I can
very
tell you
surprised
that.
how big that windshield
The
looks.
Countach, yeah, it's big.
It is
Yeah.
so raked back. When you see it in person, it is giant.
My 93 Camaro's got a huge front window on it,
Yeah.
too. But you can't see anything.
Yeah.
I remember talking to somebody, they were complaining that, oh, you can't see out of those newer Camaros and blah, blah, blah. And,
That's, I don't know, like,
and it's funny. I always tell these people that are complaining about visibility and other things out of these sports cars, like, that's not what they were made for.
no, exactly. Like, that's one of the reasons I actually like the newer Camaros is because the visibility is about the same as a Mustang.
And they have terrible
nothing.
visibility too.
Exactly.
I mean, the whole idea is what's in front of you and who gives a shit what's behind you, right? What was that,
Yeah.
Cannonball Run or Gumball Run, one of those movies?
Cannonball Run.
Yeah, he rips the rearview mirror off and throws it out the window, and he said, "What's behind us does not matter." I mean, really, unless you want to back one up.
You know what the worst...
A Countach, which you can't do.
yeah, the worst one to look behind is any
Periscope.
Viper.
Is a what?
Any Viper. If the hood, if the top is up on the Viper, trying to look behind you.
Well, the GTS had a pretty big rear window in it, didn't it?
Okay, I should clarify. 3rd gen Viper or newer.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not super well versed.
I'm not either,
Okay.
to be honest.
So back to our original topic we're talking about. Here's one that I don't know if it's gonna be controversial. Any 911. Because it's the same shape. You either love it or hate it.
Forever.
You know what I mean?
Same general shape forever.
Because like if you talk like the GT2, that
But
like
how
great car.
flawed are they? Super flawed? Because that's kind of the other.
that was
That's
like
the
just
other
a-
side of that conversation.
Yeah.
Is a car that is so iconic or gorgeous, and it has flaws, but you know it, but you're like, nah, it's okay. I'll take it anyway.
Okay, so
Yeah.
then it
You know,
wouldn't be a 911.
Yeah, because Porsches were pretty solid. I don't think they had a ton
I
of
mean, they've
flaws.
been hand built for.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about any Ferrari then? Older Ferrari.
I know.
You're,
They
the,
had
you're the
so many
Ferrari
flaws.
expert.
Yeah.
Well, think about this.
I don't know
The-
which ones have.
I don't
So
know
think of
anything
this. Any
about
of the
Ferrari.
60s Ferraris that look gorgeous and won multiple races all had drum brakes, terrible suspension. You then get into
Drum
the
brakes would
80s.
be horrible.
The Ferrari 308 and
Welcome to my life.
Fucking
right now.
scary.
Yeah. Then you go in the 80s and you have, like, for example, the Ferrari 308. That was the iconic Magnum PI car.
Yeah.
Had 200 horses.
Yeah.
Super tiny car. Always had mechanical failures.
200 horses.
205
My Camaro's
horses.
almost there.
I know,
Almost
right?
there. Yeah, there's a lot of cars that are faster than
look
that.
at the-
But it's iconic, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
308 is not the best looking Ferrari out there,
No.
but it's
No.
an icon.
But to some people it
No.
is. That
Only
was the car
because-
that grew
Yeah.
up as on the poster.
Only because
Agreed.
of Magnum PI.
It's only because of Magnum.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
What
to me,
about-
the 328 is a better car.
Then you
better
look at
looking.
the
And then
Tes-
you got 388 GTO, and I would just kill for that.
Yeah. But then look at the Testarossa.
Ah.
So that's iconic. That's great looking.
Yeah,
but the
love
engine's high. The original Testarossa was built as a Grand Tour,
Mm-hmm.
something just relaxing to drive. It wasn't until the 512 TR versions
Right.
that they became sports cars. So is that something you kind of give it a pass because it looks so
I would.
good?
Absolutely
You know?
would. Yeah.
But drives terribly.
Yeah. I totally would give that a pass.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Derek?
Yeah. Again, I don't know much about Ferraris.
Do you know what the 512? Yeah, I mean,
You know
it's
what
the-
Testarossa is?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know
the
what the
Testarossa.
Testarossa
Yeah, the
is.
512
I don't
TR.
know the difference between the Testarossa.
Sure, let me tell ya.
If
Well,
one
let's
drove
not
by,
get
I'd
too
be
deep.
like, "Hey, look, that's a Testarossa. That's freaking awesome."
Perfect.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, outside of that, you start throwing all those numbers
So
at
it gets a
me, and
pass, right?
I believe so,
Yeah, I
100%.
think so.
I mean, I'd get my picture taken in one.
Yeah.
I would
why
take it
not?
for a drive. I would
Hell
take it
yeah.
if somebody was giving it to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
In a
if you're going to
heartbeat.
give it to me?
I would even
Oh.
buy it if I could afford it.
There's a lot of cars that I would take if you gave it to me, but
We're going to get to that.
What about The Celine S7.
That's a cool
That's
car.
a freaking cool.
Yeah. That's a cool
That's
car.
a freaking cool.
It's
car.
cool, but the interior's cramped. I think there's no rearview mirror. It uses a backup
Okay,
camera.
you get so granular, man.
I'm trying to. You say like the flaws.
Okay.
I'm giving you the flaws.
Does it get a pass or not?
That's what I'm asking.
It does to me. I don't even care
It had
what's wrong with it. That's a
200
gorgeous
grand
car.
or something when they came out.
I
They were
don't care.
super
Yeah.
expensive.
I mean,
Yeah.
I actually think they were the turbo version was like 450, 500. Actually, no, I think they were 750 for when they were brand new for the 750 twin turbo horsepower version. But I mean, you got
that
a lot of
is
the car out of
so
that.
unobtainable.
But I mean, you're getting
Yeah.
240 horses,
Right.
0 to 60, 2.2 seconds.
that's two of my
claimed.
houses.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That's just one of those. Can you afford it?
yeah.
Nope.
Can't do it. But it gets a pass.
Yeah, I mean, take it. They
Yeah.
are. They're a sexy looking car.
Yeah, I actually saw one 2 years ago. We have, down at Beaches Driving.
Yeah.
There was a guy down there who had one.
Mhm.
It's gorgeous.
And it's still
Absolutely
driving.
beautiful.
Let's
Yeah, still
tone it
driving.
back some affordable. Then what about DeLorean?
Okay.
I think if you made
think it
it a
gets a-
time machine, it gets a pass.
Yeah,
I think it gets a pass just because of its history.
but it's slow.
Oh yeah, it's a terrible car.
Well, yeah,
But to me, I'd take
Fill
it.
it with cocaine. I'll take it in a heartbeat.
yeah.
No, I give it a pass.
Yeah, no, I think they're super cool cars. One of the first, stainless steel cars.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Really, right? I mean, the AC Cobra, but it was aluminum, brushed aluminum,
yeah.
right? If I'm not mistaken.
They have so many different versions. You would probably know
Yeah.
better, but I know they have
the Cobra?
aluminum. Yeah.
They had a brushed aluminum.
Don't they have not a carbon, but a fiberglass
They
body
have a
too?
copper one. I know that.
Well, I told you that last
Yeah.
week.
But that stainless steel DeLorean, I think it's a cool car.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
Gull wing doors.
So then, what wouldn't make the list for us then?
Gremlin?
I don't know, man. Have you seen Freiberger's Hemi Grimmy? Dude, I could get into that.
Oh man,
that one gets it for you, huh?
Just that particular
Just that one, yeah.
yeah.
Big tires, big motor.
So
Smoking machine.
that's a good question. So a car that is really actually
Iconic, but doesn't
iconic or good looking,
Prius.
but it has so many flaws
Prius.
that you're just like, that's not.
It's iconic.
that's
It's not good looking, but it's iconic.
for being shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I wouldn't call it iconic
I wouldn't
for
either.
anything
Okay.
other than every taxi cab on the planet
Yeah.
is a freaking Prius.
Yeah. Yeah. So iconic, real iconic, not Prius iconic. Or so good looking, sexy. Is there one that doesn't get a pass because it's such a piece of crap?
yeah. No, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Bugatti,
No, I got one. Prowler.
Prowler.
Prowler had a lot of problems with those big A-arms
And then-
were ripping off.
And they also had the
all
V.
that.
It looks like a decently good car. It looks
Yeah.
trying to be, but it doesn't have the horsepower.
Right.
Does that get the pass? That's one that's probably on the border.
Not for me. I agree.
Derek?
I don't think I wouldn't give it the pass.
I mean, if somebody gave it to me,
Yeah.
sure. I mean, I would take it. I'm not going to say no. I
Does
think
it make
was
up for it in the
definitely
flaws, though?
an iconic look. It was different from any other production vehicle that had come out in decades.
Yeah.
But it's not something I would go pursue by any means. Now, if I see one, I'll give the guy a thumbs up, like fucking sweet car, man.
Yeah.
But
Put an RT10 in it, and then I'm
Yeah,
like,
if
that's
it's-
cool.
if it's got
put an
a
updated
V8.
motor in it.
Then yeah, whole different thing. But from factory stock,
Yeah.
I think it's a no. I think it's an iconic car.
I'm
Or
with
kind of
you.
looking.
Yeah, I
but
think it's a
no,
no.
I think it's one no.
That's a
Um,
good call. That's a good call.
What about the Firebird?
Oh,
80s Firebird.
man.
80s Firebird.
Because it had the screaming chicken and looked good. It's iconic. I don't know if that's a gives it for its flaws though, because it didn't have performance behind the hood.
Some of them
Right?
did.
Well,
Some of them did.
nothing in the 80s had performance under the hood. Let's be honest.
So does it get the pass then or not?
Well, I'm a Camaro guy, and I like the front end of the Camaro better than the Firebird. But, I mean, you put a Trans Am out there on the block, I'm going to take it. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, think about like the Smokey and the Bandit, right? I mean, I know it's not the same.
No, that's exactly
like
what I was thinking.
78, 79, Trans Am. Dude, what a freaking cool car.
That's exactly what I was talking about.
I mean, my parents, their first new car they ever bought was a 79 Trans Am, the gold with the brown bird. It's just a
pretty
cool
cool.
freaking car.
Pretty iconic, very iconic.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it does get the pass.
Does it get the pass?
Yeah.
You know, I would take one in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
somebody
I just
give
remember-
it to me. I'm not going to build one.
I remember I
but-
drove one once for that old shop I used to work for, and very cool looking car. But we had to tune it back to OEM to pass emissions, and it was such a dog of a car to drive.
Yeah.
Like it wanted to die constantly, and just trying to adjust that carburetor straight.
Why do you have to pass emissions on a 79?
Because in Oregon, it's 75 and up have to have DEQ. Otherwise, 74 and below, they're ignored.
Really?
Yeah, unless it has collector's plates.
One more reason
as
not
well
to move
as
south.
well, that's the other thing. It's not all of Oregon; it's the Portland area, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and they actually just started including it where it's like 2022 or 1 and up. You don't have to worry about emissions now, which
The
blows
year-
my mind.
The year shifts, right? So it's, I don't know if it's from current back 40 years or what it. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look it up. I don't have any cars that fall in that category, so I don't have to worry about it. But yeah, it's a moving target.
I've
Yeah.
lived in an area for so long that doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
That it just doesn't matter to me anymore. Although Washington State now, they've gotten rid of all their emission stations.
All of it.
All of them. Nobody has to pass emissions anymore.
I did not know that.
I'm sure it's because most people are driving newer cars that have great emissions, and they want to push everything to all electric by like 2035 or whatever the hell that obnoxious number is. That they hope to have the infrastructure built by, but they've cleaned them all out. They don't even have emission stations anymore.
Interesting.
So they've cleaned it up enough. They figure, okay, we're done with that.
So Rob, there's a bonus to having electric cars. We don't have to worry about the emissions now. Back to topic on hand.
So back to
Costs
the
a
topic.
lot of diesel to mine lithium and a lot of coal to get power at your home. But
Oh, I know.
Anyway.
I know.
Cobalt. Anybody that's into electrics, go ahead and look up a cobalt mine.
oh god,
Where your battery
What about
technology comes
here?
from.
No. Stick to that topic for one moment. For let's say 30 seconds.
100% into the topic.
Okay. Does a Tesla meet that? Any of them?
Fuck no.
Because they're iconic.
No, they're not.
I mean, they're not.
No, there's
they're
a
not.
freaking million of them out there.
Okay.
You want to talk about a car I'm tired of seeing? It's a freaking Model 3.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Oh my
They're-
God.
no.
Okay, so
They're not
that's
iconic. They're annoying.
Okay.
They look, I mean, you say like
They're
the
like every other
beetle is
car
a
out there.
bug, right? But they actually look like a freaking insect
True,
of some kind.
true.
And not a good looking one either.
Yeah.
They're just
So
ugly.
along the same realm of topic, okay?
Okay.
So what car is on your list of I really want to drive one day?
First gen Camaro. I thought we already had this conversation.
Well, great.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's the one for me.
The one.
That is the one.
Okay.
If I could drive a first gen Camaro,
We need to make that happen, Rob.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean that's a
make that
bucket
happen.
list
Yeah.
item.
We can
for
totally
me.
make that happen. Probably
Yeah.
probably within the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, we're the new Make a Wish Foundation.
Yeah, as long as
Ooh,
it doesn't
careful.
take away
Careful.
from my runs
Yeah.
to compete.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the biggest obstacle, right?
Lunchtime trophy.
There you go.
Oh well, it never stays that way though.
No, I mean we'll make it happen at break.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
hold on, I'll do that. If you're gonna let me go,
I hope
play
you're
on the
listening,
track.
John.
Yeah, thanks, John, in advance.
Thanks, John. Yeah. So any others
No,
like
for
are on your
sure.
list of like, oh, I would really like to drive one of those.
Like a
one day.
Diablo.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that Diablo VT would be super neat.
Yeah.
You know, as dumb as it may sound, you know, the DeLorean I think would just be cool to drive. And
The normal DeLorean?
See if it would go 88 miles an hour to begin with.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Might need a long stretch of road going downhill for that.
The normal
and
DeLorean, or is it going to be a time
an,
machine?
An F1 would be freaking awesome.
An
Like a
F1 car
McLaren.
would
be cool, yeah.
McLaren F1.
Oh, a McLaren F1. There
Or,
you go. Yeah.
like, yeah, I mean, an F1 Formula One car would be freaking amazing
Beyond.
too, right?
Oh, yeah, right.
I mean, I would be the slowest guy possible,
Yeah.
probably in a Formula One car.
I
but-
didn't even get it out of first gear.
Yeah, no, just running that thing at 8,000 RPMs or whatever,
Yeah.
just not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But I think that would be super cool. I think any kind of kart car like that, I think would be really cool. Open wheel kart,
Open wheel.
Like an
some
Ariel
kind.
Adam?
No, a real race car.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Like
thinking,
a Grumpet GP1?
A what?
I don't know how you exactly spell it, but it's like an open cart, but for the road.
Oh.
But it's a bigger car, and I think it has a V8.
It'd have to be a race car, man.
A race car?
I want
Okay.
big, wide slicks and
Yeah.
fancy steering wheel and shit.
Okay, so it's got to be a Mustang.
Absolutely
Oh,
not.
you're the worst.
I've driven plenty of those, and I own Camaros and Corvettes. So
Yeah. What's on your list, Grant? Because I know you've driven a bunch of really cool stuff, but like, what have you not? Maybe give us 3 to 4 that you haven't driven, and it's on your list of I really want to drive one of those one day.
288 GTO is on there for sure. Well, let's just pick one Ferrari album because there's a bunch I could say 288 probably or F50. I would one of those two for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a Testarossa.
Okay.
So like there's a bunch of Ferraris, and I'm just gonna say any
Yeah.
classic or old
Other
Ferrari.
Ferrari
Yeah,
that
any
haven't
other Ferrari that
driven.
haven't driven.
Yeah.
Because, they're not, the newer Ferraris are just too fast and they're too much computer. The older ones you're really engaged with, and that's
Okay.
just something different.
Yeah, yeah. I get that driver engagement for sure.
yeah, that raw feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We bring it up all the time. Ford GT, 2005,
Absolutely.
2006. I want to have that driving style experience because I want to see if the ergonomics and the interior is up to what I think it equals.
It's got
along with the
radio in
driving.
it.
It's got a radio into it, but like the seats, like people say, it's really comfortable. The way the shifter's set up, the way the vision you've got to look out. The engine's right behind you. You have the supercharger noise. And then the last one we've talked about this again off camera. I really want to get behind of a Lincoln Continental, 1966 with the drop top. I want to get 4 good friends, aka
66
the
Lincoln Continental.
4 friends in this
Talk about
room.
land.
I wonder
Yeah.
if we can Turo one of those.
Oh my god, I want
you
to do
thought
that.
about it?
No, I have not. I want to do that, and I want the Entourage theme song playing, and us go to a club or a nice dinner restaurant somewhere.
All right.
That'd
Okay.
be so fun.
I got another one for you, but it's not a car.
Okay.
And I wouldn't be driving it.
Okay.
Bucket list thing that I want to ride in
Okay.
is a sidecar.
Oh,
Like
really?
Like I would have to trust the person
Yeah,
riding
you
the
would.
motorcycle
Oh, yeah.
first of all.
Yep.
And I wouldn't want to do it for a long period of time.
Yeah.
But man, I want to sit in a sidecar one day. I think that would be so cool.
Cool.
Sounds scary.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we did that, I have to get my Indiana Jones costume on.
Oh my God.
It'd be so good.
Have you seen those
Well,
sidecar
it would have
races?
to have a radio because he's going to play the Indiana Jones.
Oh, hands
song
down.
as he's-
No, I'm just gonna have Derek
Put
holding
some-
the boombox in his
Put
hands.
some freaking earbuds in or something. My God, I don't want to listen to it while I'm riding the bike.
It's going through your head.
Oh, I know.
All right.
You're killing me.
Yeah.
But have you seen those motorcycle races, those sidecar motorcycle
I
races?
have.
They call that guy the monkey.
You know, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You know, they-
Lord.
They do those. I swear I just saw him doing it at Isle of Man in the sidecar.
No shit.
Really?
You've got to have
Absolutely
some
insane.
balls
Wow.
on you
Yeah.
to just crawl all over that thing.
Yeah.
Not strapped in.
Quite the team. Quite the team.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah,
you
they're
talk
amazing.
about trust in your rider, right?
I can imagine crashing that at that speed.
You don't crash.
You die.
You bail.
Yeah.
Hope you don't die.
You just hope that your skid pads are really good and you just go for a slide.
yeah.
Man.
The Isle of Man would be pretty cool though.
I would like to see it. It's also kind of morbid because people die at that thing every year.
Yeah.
But oh my Lord, they're fast.
They are flying
It's
through there.
absolutely insane.
And everybody looks at like the city, right? Because that's
Yep.
where all the cameras are, and
Yeah.
that's where all the people are, and all that, which is
I like
scary
all
as
the
shit.
side roads.
But they've got like the mountain road and
Yeah.
all that kind of
Yep.
goes up to the peak.
Yep.
That would be just so much fun to do.
Insane. To do or to see?
Both.
Well, I mean, I would do it slow.
Okay.
Comparatively. anyway.
Yeah,
I
absolutely
mean,
slow.
let's-
And in a car.
Yeah. yeah. I mean, I like
In a-
riding bikes fast, but let's not get
dumb.
No, exactly. It's kind of like doing like a hill climb.
Yeah.
I think that would be super fun too, but man, dangerous.
Super
Yeah.
dangerous.
Yeah.
It freaks me out a little bit. I've never done one.
I haven't
Right.
either.
And I feel like I have good car control and stuff, but dumb stuff happens.
No.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Right.
be that guy.
I remember when I was
And it's
starting,
not like a groomed track,
Right.
right? It's
Right.
on a road that
Right.
can have issues
Yeah.
or whatever.
I remember when I was starting Autocross, there was people that were trying to get me to sign up for Autocross. I believe Tim, because Tim is my teacher. The one thing he told me is like, if you do this, keep this in mind. About every year, we have someone go off the track, and keep that in
He
mind.
was trying to
He's trying to
hill
keep,
climb.
Yeah, for a hill climb,
Yeah.
and just because he doesn't. I don't believe he does that, but he was
Tim,
He
who,
has
Bodenheimer?
Bodenheimer, yeah. And so, saying out of concern, just so I know that's the risk I'm going into.
Oh yeah, and
it's
some of them cliffs are big. Dude.
Oh yeah,
like the Pikes Peak hill climb.
No joke.
I mean, there's some major drop offs.
Yeah.
And when people go off, they generally don't come back up.
The one that hits me hard was
Cars are not in one piece.
We had a WMC 5 years ago, I think, someone in Miata who had their GoPro go, and they had it recording as they went off, and they got close, going off the cliff. We put that on my 70-inch TV with the surround sound and just watched their lap, and it was like me and my friends were watching it. It's like we're literally in the car. Yeah. It was really wild just having that view and that speed going through. It was like, whoa.
Yeah. So back on topic.
Yeah.
Not hill climb.
Nope.
I had 4 on my list.
Okay.
Original GT40.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would also like to drive the Ford GT of any era.
Yeah.
Either 2005
Sure.
to current. They're supercars.
Yeah.
They're cool, right?
For real.
Countach.
Yeah.
Even though I know it's kind of a
Dog.
You could drive
Little
mine.
bit. Yeah. Not quite the same. F40.
Yeah.
That is probably one of my, biggest, of the Ferrari family.
Yeah.
That's my car.
Can you sit on that wing like you could on the
No.
Super Bs and Daytonas and all that, or is it a pretty fragile wing?
No, it's pretty fragile.
Is it? Yeah.
I would assume. I know, like the original F40s didn't have any bolts or anything. Everything was glued together. So
I would, yeah.
But I also know it gives a lot of downforce, though.
It's a carbon fiber.
If somebody tried to sit on the wing
I
of
don't
my
know if it's
F40,
I don't know if it's made of carbon fiber.
probably have.
The original F40 was made of Kevlar, aluminum, and I want to say some carbon fiber.
I think it's, yeah.
But I'm not sure which parts are.
There's amount of carbon fiber in there. And a Lamborghini Miura.
The Miura.
The Miura.
Man, what a interesting vehicle that was.
It's just beautiful. It's such a beautiful car.
And
Yeah.
you don't see
Oh,
many people even
no.
talking about those.
No.
you don't see a lot of them. I mean, have you ever seen one on the road?
No.
Yes.
You've seen everything. I mean,
Yeah, you hang out with a different group.
yeah, you hang out with the supercar folks.
Yeah.
And I've seen just like 2 ever
Yeah.
in person.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
They're
don't
just-
think I ever have.
What an amazing car. I mean, it's just beautiful. That's one for sure on my
Yeah.
list.
Yeah.
I would like to drive a lot of different cars. I want
Oh,
to
yeah.
expand my repertoire of vehicles that I've experienced. I want to
Oh,
be
for
able
sure.
to. I want to be able to compare everything down the line. But
Can I change 2 of mine? I just thought of 2.
okay.
Okay. Because
After you
of
give me a refill.
different drive styles. Hang on. Refill. Reload.
Cocked and locked again.
Here we
We're
go.
good.
1 second. Okay. The 2 I was thinking about the changing. First one, as we're talking about driving styles, is the Lamborghini LM002.
Okay.
The Lambo Rambo.
Yep.
Lambo Rambo.
So it was when Lamborghini were
Lamborghini.
coming up with their own
yeah.
Hummer.
Yeah.
I think that would be different to drive because just the sound of the engine, driving of it,
Interesting.
bigger, higher up.
What motor did they put in that?
They put the Countach motor into it.
Okay.
The high output
Yeah.
European spec with 450 horses.
Yep.
So that would be one I think would be different just because it's, no power steering, 5-speed.
Mm-hmm.
The second one would be Ford RS 200, which is their rally one.
Yeah.
Mid-engine, all-wheel drive. That I think would be different.
It'd be fun.
And,
Yeah.
and kind of like what you're saying, I want to have different driving experiences. And those
Right.
2 I think would be different and fun to experience.
Yeah.
You know.
Talking like expensive off-road vehicles. Have you seen those big freaking tank things they have on
The
the road?
TRX?
It's the Resvani. I was
not seen
driving.
the Resvani.
We should Google it.
The last time I was down here, on my way down, I saw one of these driving down the
That's
highway,
I'm Googling on my phone.
and it had this, I don't know, late 40s, early 50s blonde gal that looked like she was an Avon lady or something.
Is it
driving
this thing?
Yeah.
What the
But
heck is
she
this
had
thing?
she had some
Look at this, Rob.
real estate sticker on the side of it or something. It was like, I mean, it's
Wow.
it's interesting.
For our listeners, it's essentially, I would say, like
hideous.
a Wrangler that's trying to be something from a futuristic Arnold Schwarzenegger
No,
movie.
it's almost like that Toyota.
Yeah, more Toyota. Yeah. That's the way I
Yeah.
Like an
see that
FJ,
too.
like a newer FJ, but more aggressive.
Kind of.
I don't know how to explain this. It's just
Yeah,
It was weird.
there's a picture
It's
of a guy
cool.
taking
and
a
it
gun to
looked
it.
like
look
a
up Rezvani, Rezvani for the listener.
Tank.
tank, the Rezvani tank.
And that's still a street vehicle, which is crazy. Just
It
want to bring a
was-
trailer.
I mean, side profile is a little jeepy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's kind of a
That's what I
weird
was saying.
rig.
also came up on my search a Rezvani Beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I saw that too, yeah.
That's pretty insane.
Bring a trailer.
That's a supercar.
151 grand. Wow.
Supercar.
Used.
I bet you they make a pickup version of this.
Interesting.
Lord have
Never seen that
mercy.
before.
Neither way.
Alrighty, learned something new today.
Before we get to the
Add
next
that.
topic,
They did
let's
make a
take
pickup. Look at this.
short
So
break.
we're real close to being.
Look at this,
done.
Derek.
Oh,
Yeah.
6x6 pickup truck version they make. See, Rob, do you see this?
Jeez
I did see
Louise,
that.
Wow.
Yep.
I like 6x6 trucks. I'm not gonna lie.
When you get
We're
like a
going
white fuel
to-
6x6 old school like military rig.
I really wanted to get like an excursion 6x6. They used to have advertisements in DuPont Registry all the time for them. People in member middle school would make fun of me all the time for wanting that. Why would you want that? It's so big. Why would you need that? I'm like, do you see the interior? It's just the back was like.
He's all about interiors.
Well, because
I
it
don't
was
know if
nice
you've
and
ever
luxurious.
noticed.
You know how big of a
Every
radio
time
you
we
could
bring-
fit in the back
I
of a
know.
6x6
Every time
excursion?
we bring up any kind of car and options, in this case, he's all about, well, but the interior is this, and you can reach the radio, and you can do this, and you can. It's fine.
You can't
I'm
drive a
just
car
saying.
unless you have an interior.
Well, no,
You gotta have a steering wheel. Gotta have a seat. That's an interior.
Does it have a ball tickler?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, now I'm in now.
You need the ball vent.
Yeah.
You need the
Those are-
vent.
Oh, those need to come
First
back.
time I ever
As
rode in a
fat
car
needs
that
to come
had
back.
those, I was in scrubs and
Yep.
I was working.
Yep.
And whoo, buddy.
And you're like, well, hey.
They got cold quick.
Yeah.
Hello there.
It blew right through them scrubs. I'll tell you what.
All right. So we're getting really close. What car's a hard no?
Yeah, you mean other than the PT Cruiser, right? Because you guys have
You
hit
can.
on that one
I mean,
lot.
we've drilled that thing down. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if that's a hard no for you, then
So, okay, story goes along with it.
Okay.
I flew into Pasco in the Tri-Cities of Washington. I'm a Hertz President's Club member. I've just rented too many damn cars. I'm guaranteed upgrades, whatever. It's cold as sin. And they put me in this little tiny car. I was like, that's all you have? That's it? They said, yep, that's all we've got. I didn't even make it to my hotel. I blew a tire.
Oh,
They didn't give me a new car. They just put a tire on it, gave it back to me. And I had to drive to Walla Walla first thing in the morning, so it's about an hour east. And we had a huge snowfall that morning. I left 2 hours early to get there on time. 5 minutes before I was supposed to be there, I called them. I wasn't even halfway there, and I said, I'm not going to make it. I'm sorry. I have to go back. This car is going to kill me. They put me in a little Chevy Spark.
Oh, wow.
oh.
Subcompact.
And it was snowing like crazy.
Yeah.
At least it was front wheel drive.
Grant, I don't think with the wheelbase in that thing, I don't think it matters.
Yeah. Both front and rear wheels are
Yeah.
touching.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the worst car I had ever driven, I had ever been in. It was just a rattle can.
Yeah.
How was the interior?
Terrible. Terrible.
Lord.
It was non-existent for the most part.
He was sitting on a milk crate.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was the worst car I have ever driven in my life.
Yeah.
And even if you tried to give it to me so I could sell it and make money,
Yep.
you can keep it.
Hard no.
Hard no.
Yep. Chevy Spark or PT Cruiser?
I would take a PT Cruiser in a heartbeat over a Spark.
Wow.
That's how bad it is.
That was
the most
the
experience.
worst car
Can
I've
I-
ever been behind the wheel of.
What was your best car, or what would you recommend for the best cars for renting then? Because you've had so many cars renting then.
Tahoe.
Tahoe, they
Oh, yeah.
always just, any year it doesn't matter, they're always dependable and
They're
reliable.
always new and they're always loaded at the rental place
Yeah.
because it's expensive.
Yeah.
You know, I get a lot. Well, I used to get a lot of Impalas. You know, they don't really do a lot of those anymore. A lot of RAV4s, believe it or not. There's
Really?
a ton of RAV4s
That
in the
doesn't
fleet.
surprise me. Yeah.
The Jeep Cherokee, I get several of those too. Those are really nice, you know, rigs. I have no idea what they actually cost or go for or any of that. But as far as like a rental rig's concerned, you know, when I'm over in Eastern Washington a lot, I'm in the snow, I'm in the, you know, garbage weather all the time. You know, the RAV4 does an okay job. The Jeep Cherokee is really nice. I mean, anytime they ever offer you a Tahoe, just, you know, run as fast as you can to that
Grab
car.
the keys and run.
Yeah, before they try to give it away. But I don't know. I mean, I've been in a lot of Hyundais. They used to do a lot of Sonatas.
Do you like the Hyundais?
Not a fan.
No, okay.
Man. I've had some bad experiences with Hyundais, you know, between my wife and myself. She had one, and it just totally grenaded itself.
Yep.
I had a company rig that was a Hyundai Elantra. Oh, it was freaking terrible. That car tried to kill me all the time. I mean, if you came to a stop and rolled 3 inches, it would shift to 4th gear. So you're like at a traffic light and you're trying to jump out in heavy traffic in Renton or Seattle or whatever, and you slam on the gas, it goes bleh, and just hangs you out to be T-boned.
Economy mode.
So I got into a habit. That poor car, man, I destroyed that car. Every time I got to a traffic light, I'd put it in 1st gear into manual and just slam the gas and rev that thing up to banging off the rev limiter before I put it back in drive, because I did not want to get hung out to dry and freaking T-bone, man. I hated that car. But yeah, not a fan of a Hyundai, to be honest, or Hyundai, or however the hell you're supposed to say it. Yeah, that thing.
That thing. All right. Well, last thing. Coolest thing you saw this week?
I gotta know, because coolest car we saw or coolest car related thing we saw?
Car related.
Okay, for me, I saw an article. I wish I could find the link for it, which I know I have it somewhere.
Okay.
There was a team at a college that was successfully able to make a retrofit. They claim their design could go on any diesel engine retrofit for making it hydrogen powered. That was a big breakthrough.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they've had tests in the past where people have made it so diesel engines could be converted to hydrogen. But their claim is that with this, the way they designed it, it could be retrofitted to any diesel and be retrofitted for hydrogen use.
Wow.
And that I thought was really impressive.
I mean, if that's real deal, that's a serious breakthrough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did the article say anything about mileage, usage, horsepower?
No, I need to look
None
it
of
up.
the important stuff.
No, I was like getting
It ran.
I got really distracted at work, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." Look for a few seconds. Like, wait, gotta go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If you find that, forward it on. Let's take a look at that.
Yeah,
Look into it a little bit. Very interesting. Derek, what do you got? Coolest car related thing you saw this week?
I haven't really seen much, to be honest with you. You know, we're getting into the nicer weather, right? Starting to see more guys pull their stuff out, but it's still early in the season up here in the Pacific Northwest, I guess. But I did see a Cobra kit car about a week and a half ago or so. And
was it my old man?
No, it was up in Washington.
Was it my old man?
No, but he had a really well done kit. You know, from sitting still at the gas station when I was shooting the shit with him. It looked really well done.
Yeah.
You know, obviously didn't ride in it, didn't see if it shaked and rattled. You know,
I mean, that would be legit, right? If it's shaking and rattling and feel like you're going to fall apart.
Did it have the side pipes,
real
or
thing.
did it have the exhaust on the back?
That was pretty cool. And then, you know, if I had to say anything, I mean, looking at like luxury cars and things like that, I did see an RS7 today, an Audi RS7, which I mean, if if I'm not going to get a Cadillac like CT6, you know, Blackwing or something like that, that RS7, that's a pretty
luxury.
That's a pretty slick, semi-luxurious, you know, sports car. I really like that, but I haven't seen a ton recently, to be honest.
Cobra would do it.
Yeah.
What was your question about the
I was
Cobra?
saying, did it have the side pipes or did it have the exhaust out the back? What kind of Cobra was it?
It had side pipes.
Side pipe. Was it the iconic blue with white stripes, or was it a red one? What did he paint it?
It was like the 289 style, the red with the white stripe.
Okay.
You know, but I don't know what he had under the hood. I can't recall anymore. I believe he said he had an LS under there.
Okay.
But
Blasphemy.
Yeah, no doubt.
At least it's not. I saw at the Portland Auto Show last year, someone took a Cobra and electrified it. That
You
was
say an
blasphemy.
LS is blasphemy.
Right.
I mean, every Ford guy out there eventually gets tired of his freaking Ford motor
Yeah.
and puts an LS in his Ford. It just tickles me pink to go to the car show and every like 32, 33 Ford's
Has
got an
the
LS.
LS in it, yeah.
But that's just the Chevy guy in me, I suppose. But
It is kind of funny, but also like, really, you couldn't put a Ford motor in that?
it's reliable
it's
and
probably
there's
not-
parts available everywhere. You can't hardly blow them up.
How much you want to bet it's just not the owner saying that? It's they bring it to a speed shop and they say, I want to make go fast. And I'm like, oh, let's throw an
you gotta
LS
put
in
an
it.
LS in it.
Yeah, because that's their bread and butter.
Yeah.
Well, they've probably done 100,000 of them, and it's
Yeah.
easy for them, and they understand it, right?
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
You know, I'm not big into brand to brand. I mean, whatever, man. If you want to put something in a car to make it go fast and kick ass, I'm all about it. It just happens to be a nice benefit that I'm a Chevy guy, and the LS seems to be where everybody goes.
Yeah.
So you're saying the Chevy Spark needs an LS?
If you put an LS in that thing, I would do donuts in it and then throw it in a ditch somewhere after I was done. But I would definitely do it. Throw it in reverse and just do some backward donuts with it. It would be fun as hell. And then I would leave it wherever it blew up.
Take the motor with you.
No, I would make sure and blow it up. 100%.
Nobody else could use it either.
That's right.
So
And then take the plates off of it, take the VIN tag off, and walk away.
walk away. Yesterday, I saw a 1948 Chevy pickup
Beautiful.
on the road. Yep. Gorgeous resto mod, lowered red and black.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a gorgeous truck.
Actually, today I saw an early '60s. I'm not super familiar with exactly what year it would have been. Chevy pickup leaving PDEC. I was over at Portland Diabetes and whatever. We won't give them a hook on here, but he had Model T taillights on the back of that thing, and I couldn't figure out. He had these little tiny white lights up on the top of his tailgate, and I was like, "Oh, that must be his backup lights or something." It was like a matte black color.
Yeah.
It was a super cool truck. I mean, it was obviously a project in the works, but to put those Model T taillights on
That's cool.
the Chevy guy put something Ford on his
you go.
freaking Chevrolet. It'll make you happy.
Yeah.
Something different. Yeah, like you said, the weather's getting better. The cars are starting to come out.
Yeah,
I think
finally.
Beaches starts this week, and Thursdays now at PIR.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Question mark. Yeah.
Question mark? Yeah. I know it starts up pretty soon, if it hasn't already.
Yeah, I was gonna say it feels like at the beginning before all the sports cars stuff come out, we get all the trucks first. Like I saw a 1947 like F100.
Oh yeah, that's
bright red. That was
nice.
cool on the road seeing that.
Yeah, those are good looking.
But yeah, it's like we're talking about. It seems like all the trucks come out first, and then we see the sports cars.
The cars, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's quite a large. I live out in the Sandy area. There's a large contingent collection. I don't know number of people with collector cars out there. You see them a lot.
Oh, you mean Albert? Yeah, he's got that collection out there.
Who? What?
Albert?
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm just making up guys now.
Alfred.
it's Alfred.
I'm Batman.
Batman. All right. You wanted to do a ghost car update.
Yeah.
What do you got?
So one of the things I found for the ghost car update, without going into too much detail about it, is we were trying to figure out this car, if any future model parts could be used on it
Okay.
from other.
Yes, I recall.
Yeah.
Why not?
So talking to an expert of said car had told me that you can't, one of the options we're thinking were brakes and what we could do for brakes.
Right.
And the economy way for doing brakes is possibly using a newer model of that and put it on there.
Correct.
And that is not possible.
Oh,
The
bracketry is wrong.
except for the models that came out after the year of our car.
Okay.
Those you can put on. But it's not worth putting on unless you're doing big track driving.
Oh, okay.
This person told me that the way they drive their car, their version of the ghost car, they're still using their stock brake calipers.
So we're just to do a rebuild on the brake calipers and good to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that'll give us the performance, because we do plan on eventually going track at some point.
Yeah.
I'm
And I think
assuming
we
you
will
can
go there.
find pads for this car.
Correct.
Yes. It's still not current, but
I mean,
40 years old.
Coming from a guy like all your listeners are totally in the dark what the hell it is.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's got disc brakes.
It does.
That's a thumbs up.
Yep.
I've got some updates about the engine too, but I know if I go into specifics on that,
It's gonna
it'll
blow
give
it
it
out?
away. Yeah.
Okay.
I will say though that the upgrades from the person I talked to for putting it on there, if we keep the current motor instead of swapping into a different one,
An LS.
we put an LS.
An LS. Yeah. Yeah.
To make the power we want to make,
Yeah.
we would just need a tune, heads, hotter cam, intake, and exhaust.
I mean, just
I
like
think
every
that's
other
the
motor.
building
Yeah.
blocks of.
But we're not having to
hopping
take the
up a motor,
bottom end
right?
out or taking out, to a machine shop.
Okay.
Even if we don't use the heads, we still can make some decent power. So
I think project number 1 is see if it'll run just the way it is.
And I did find an update. Let's see if I could say this without spoiling thing.
Spoil it.
No. So I was told with those cars,
Yeah.
why it couldn't be starting is possibly because of the security system.
Oh shit.
And if that gets wet, then you replace the key or they make a kit to do it. The person I talked to swears up and down if it was running beforehand and not now, he said that would probably be the number one culprit. He says, we fix
That's
that,
not
it should
good.
turn up and it goes. He said it didn't sound very hard.
Can you bypass it?
He says a bypass kit is like $12.
Oh.
Something like that.
You
So-
can you can bypass anything.
Yeah.
Ask me how I start
would
my race
think-
car.
I
Yeah.
would think so.
Yeah, bypassed
Yeah.
all of that.
All of it.
So I'm hoping I was able to be descriptive enough to give some people our updates on this without giving it away.
No, that worked.
But
I like it.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
my
don't know.
my
That-
race car's got a anti-theft device for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't know how to start it
Yeah.
unless you know the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
it's like
kind of
Mad
thing.
Max
Yeah.
style.
Yeah.
Gotta flip the switches in the right order.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
going back to that Sirocco, I hate to do another tangent or whatever.
We're
but-
all about tangents.
So I kept blowing this fuel pump relay, and it was like
Oh.
$80 for that damn relay.
What?
It was insanity.
Holy.
So the interior of the car that we used had fog lights, so it had a fog light switch, and the front end of the other car didn't have fog lights. So Pop's like, just hot wire the fuel pump to that switch.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Got to be able to turn it on.
I was like, all right, cool, man. That's anti-theft.
Yeah.
I went through a couple fuel pumps forgetting to turn it off.
Yeah.
They don't like that.
Just keep running and running.
Yeah,
and running.
but nobody could start your car if they didn't know to turn on the fog lights.
No one can
that
start your car if you got
didn't
no fuel
exist.
pump either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another nice way, older cars with distributors and all that. If
Yeah.
you want anti-theft when you park them out somewhere, you just undo the coil
Mm-hmm.
wire and then like the number one cylinder and swap them.
Put it back
That's a
on.
good idea. I didn't think
And
of
then
that.
nobody can start your car.
Yeah.
Just remember that you have, when you can't start it,
When
and
you
you're
get
doing
back to it,
you're
you're
doing
like,
the Michael
yeah.
Jackson on the gas pedal, and
Yeah.
you can't get it started, and it's flooded. You're like, oh, that's right, I forgot to flip those damn
Right.
wires back.
So then you're back out in the rain with the hood up, flipping the wires, and
Well,
Getting
we
shocked.
do live in the Pacific Northwest.
yes, we do.
don't we?
Yeah. There's a pretty good chance it wasn't raining when you left it, but it is now.
I'm gonna hope that you're not driving your hot rod in the rain, but we do live in the Pacific
It
Northwest.
happens.
You
It
can't
happens.
plan a trip
No.
and then just expect it to be 80 degrees and sunny all the time.
No.
That's why I'm not, a
Not
big,
even in July.
No, that's why I'm not a big fan of convertibles up here.
Yeah.
They look
I
ugly when the
just-
top's up. They're loud. They leak. They're breezy.
There's no good reason for a convertible in the
there's-
Pacific Northwest.
Of course there is.
None at all.
Of course there
Not
is.
at all. Not even a
My old
Ferrari.
man beat that into my
No.
mind about why you have a convertible over a coupe in your collection.
That's why you have a T-top,
Coupes
brother.
are always
Yeah.
better. Coupes are the way to go.
I would
I
agree with
agree.
T-tops. I like T-tops.
I just want to grow a mullet and just let it fly, but it's
It's getting a little.
yeah, it's bad enough when you got business in the front and party in the back, but
Yeah.
it's worse when you got old in the middle.
Oh yeah, tell me about it.
So
Awful.
anyway, well, thanks guys, I appreciate it.
Thanks
Yeah,
for coming
thanks for coming on, Derek.
Really appreciate it. It's a great time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Always good seeing you, my brother.
Yep.
Next time I get some updates on the project,
Probably.
Yeah.
I'll shoot
Yeah.
you guys some info.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Send us some photos of your car. We'll post those up too.
Yeah, for sure.
And
And
want
listeners-
to share any social medias at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Okay.
So
Nope. That's totally fine.
you can find me at Derek Goff at Nowhere.
At nowhere.
At Nowhere.
Cajun Racing. Tell them that.
The Cajun race. Yeah, well, we got that. They got T-shirts. I'll send you a photo. It's on the back of my car too.
If you see Cajun Racing, it is Derek and his father.
It's Racing Cajuns.
Racing Cajuns.
So if you see us on the highway and you see the big Jake skull on the back of the trailer and it says Racing Cajuns underneath us, give us a honk. Let us know.
You'd be like, I know you guys.
Why is that guy honking at us?
Yeah.
What's going on?
That's exactly what we'll be doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We better pull over and check the trailer.
Man, something's wrong.
We got a flat. Something's wrong.
We'll be checking the tire pressure monitor. Be like, everything looks
I don't know.
good.
It looks
Derek,
fine.
I bet you that will be the day your dad will discover that Pokemon sticker.
See, he still doesn't know, and
he's gonna know now.
He is gonna know now.
he doesn't know where to
He's
look.
gonna listen to this episode, even if he didn't listen to any other ones.
Yep.
Because he wants to hear what kind of nasty things I said about him on here.
Yep.
And just remember, Pop, I love you. And all I said was that I'm glad we have the relationship that we have. So keep that in mind. But every time I drive by it now, because he hooks the RV to the trailer, and when I drive down the driveway by it, all I see is that damn Pokemon sticker now.
It's been out there for what, 3 years now? 2 years now?
I totally forgot that you put that on there. And then I think it was last year. You're like, is it still there? I'm like, I don't know.
Oh my God, the shenanigans we come up with after race day.
It gets to be long nights.
Right on.
Sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. All right,
But,
everybody, thanks for listening. Really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Make sure to hit us up on our social media pages at Untitled Car Projects on Facebook, on Instagram, Untitled Car Projects at gmail.com. Hit us on our Twitter at Untitled Car Projects Pro.
No, God.
Oh, wait, no.
Untitled Car Pro.
Untitled Car Pro, sorry, is our Twitter.
You're just going too fast.
I know I am, because I'm
good
always
thing
fast.
Rob's
I am
here.
speed.
Yeah. All right. Yep. And hit follow button on the podcast. Really
Yeah.
appreciate you listening. Thanks,
Yeah,
everybody.
but Thanks for coming on, Derek.
Hey, thank you guys.
All right. Talk to you guys in a bit. Woo, Jurassic Park. No, hang on.
Hey,
Hang on.
we didn't hit the Jurassic Park this time.
Oh, no, we did. We did like
Snuck it in.
They were just